And we're gonna start by day. Mm-hmm. It's good, family. Jump in, do something real quick. Yeah, peace. North African power all day long. We ain't hating on our North African brothers and sisters, West African brothers and sisters, East African brothers and sisters, South African brothers and sisters. We hold some of the oldest traditions on planet Earth. We ain't hating. We're gonna participate. I ain't gonna be able to get too loud today, man. Kids in the bed early, teenagers. Just want to rustle this in a little bit, get it in, and y'all know how we doing it, man. We we getting it in, man. I said the people pile up a little bit, man, in the audience, man. James, what's going on, James? We don't gotta fix nothing, man. We're gonna do it some real smooth. Demir Milton, what's good, man? Lil King, what's good? Tamika, what it do? Damn, sweetie. Thought it was. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Where the rest of the bros at? Y'all gave out the link. The elephant in the room ain't an elephant in the room at all. Watch how smooth I be with this. It's not an elephant in the room. Nah, it's something to keep us tied down to the bunch of nonsense. Wasting time, man. We're a scientifically literate channel around here, man. Right? But what I will do is I'll give everybody a good source. Y'all can go ahead and read it, some good reads in it. What's good? Rebel the Sounds. Ricard Robinson. What's good? Pseudo Killas official. Hell, everybody, man. I sent this shit to your email. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Let me see. Go ahead and get started, man, in this thing. I'm gonna let the people go in there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, now I got time, man. Hey, man, big up to the Ravens. Let me get my thing from my phone die real quick, man. And we get ready to get it in. And there's some people pile up in the building. Yep, I think the actual strength of the channel, man, is the diverse opinion on the channel. That's how I feel, man. I like the setup. I enjoy it. For me, anyway, um, can't speak for everybody else, but the unique, diverse opinions on the Pseudo Killer is what's gonna keep this goddamn thing flourishing. So it's gonna make it better than all the stops prior to it. It's the harmony in the diverse opinion that keeps us strong for those who push us forward in understanding scientific literacy and understand the scientific community. Ah, man. How religion evolved? Nah, I gotta get the book for the day real quick for y'all, man. Damn. 1 second. Let me make sure. 1 second, man. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Man, watch the people get up in there, man, before we really get it going. We got 26,000 in the building. Not enough. Not enough. On there, where y'all at? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's. The point I wanted to read right here. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. All right, we're gonna keep it rolling. Great up here, man. That everybody coming to the building, man. 25 ain't enough, yo. Nope, ain't enough for me to get started. Boy, late show, 42. What's good, man? Yeah, man, the Sanchez thing was fun for me, man. Yeah, that was fun, man. You know, I respect the brother Sanchez just for his decorum, man. He always has a great decorum. And we're going to be actually setting up some shows back and forth on each other platform. It'll kind of help us out. It'll help us reach some people that we need to reach. And I'm sure he thinks it'll help him reach some people that he need to reach. I think it's healthy. Like I said, you know, the challenge is always great for a healthy, for a healthy environment, man. I kind of learned this, I've been through a lot of phases and getting to where I'm getting to. Yeah, Black American power. I see it, bro. I see it. It was something I wanted to read here now to find it, man. It's fine, man. This ain't it, man. This is not it. Damn. It's crazy. Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna this the text we're gonna be using, man. What's up, Cedric? What's good, man? Man, make sure everybody got this link, man. Everybody get the link, man. 1 second. Put this in here, man. All right, get up in here, man. These people going. Yeah, and by the way, yo, I'm definitely not arguing tonight, bro. I don't got it in me tonight. I'm on some cool shit. Gotta focus in on Chaz and them. Go ahead and check that show out yesterday. I was on that show, man. And let me make sure I put this in there, man, for everybody. Oh shoot. Stupid. All right. Think everybody got the link to need the damn link, man. But yeah, so y'all can kind of follow along with me. When we hit the Chaz show, I'm gonna give you the ammunition I'm gonna use. All right, this is the ammunition I will be using right here. All right, it's called Weird Earth by Donald Prothero. You know, this is the one dude dealt with evolution real serious, with the dinosaurs and the whole 9 yards, but he got this great book, The Weird Earth, debunking strange ideas about our planet. So this is the text we're gonna be using right here. For them, you only need one good book. It puts everything it's like put everything right where it's supposed to be. All right, let me see here. The statement I wanted to read out here, I hadn't. Oh, okay. Let me see. Let me see. Throw that highlight on their ass. What's going on, Corey? You crazy?
What up? What up?
Oh, man. What's going on, Cosmic Corey?
Oh shit, eating some food real quick.
So yeah, I just wanna yeah, you're crazy. Just let you know. But this what I don't think people actually get, bro. All right. And this is what's gonna make this channel everlasting, right? This is gonna be around for a while. It's the diversity in thought that's gonna actually keep this channel and make this thing the best that we're doing. It's diversity.
No.
Yeah, that's what's gonna keep it there, because that's right where science is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no doubt. That's right. It's always challenges. it's always definitely keeping the cutting edge information up to par.
Yeah.
Moving the knowledge forward.
Yeah, that's it, bro. Like all the rest of this is crazy. Dang, man. And I'm gonna read this and y'all real fast. Right here. So yeah, what's going on, Brennan? How you doing, man? Let me see who we got in the chat first. See if it's worthy of us starting. But
Peace.
I just
happening, brother?
Okay, I don't know, 30, 40 people. You must have killed. Did you kill a crowd?
What up, Brennan?
Hey, what's going on, Corey? I saw your rant earlier. You were on point. I saw you. You were in rare form earlier today.
No doubt. Yeah, I just wanted to do a little live just to see how the whole thing works. See,
about time.
I use Unc as a test run.
They gonna use me. Hey, y'all, not on that show when they was beating up on you about the God thing, bro. Remember that? I wasn't on that show.
Yeah, no, you was there, but you was with me. I made that clear. I hope I did.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I got a text that I'm going to be using against Shantaz and them. So if y'all listened to the show last night, I think Brendan, you're gonna play some clips from that show, ain't you?
I do. I have some clips for it I can pull up, and we can kind of go through. We can cycle through it. Again, that was a very long show, right. But we can pull out some really good, interesting snippets from it. So absolutely, right. I think you did a great job over there. By the way,
he's chilling, yeah, because I've been reading this. Yeah, this is gonna be the primary.
I got that actually.
Yeah, this is it. So watch this. Let's do this. Let's see. We got how many people we got in the chat? I only think y'all need to be calling up a friend. Let them know they live. We have 50. We really need 60 to go. This ain't a moral truth. Immortal truth, man. Peace, man. Y'all know what it is, man. Gary Hart, what's good? To Hootie, Hecker, what's good? What it do? What it do? Man, Lil King already shouted you out. James, I shouted you out. Smash Rock Wells in the building. Cedric, what's good? All right. Pseudo Killas official. Magi Archers, man. Like and subscribe to the Magi. You know, when you say the Magi, you gotta say the Magi. Can't just say it regular. Mike Shabazz, what's good? All right. Yeah, man, y'all get up in here, man. Stoic one, probably said that right. All right. Chakra, aka Moroccan Mike. What's up, Moroccan Mike? Shout out to the North African. Man, shout out to all the damn Africans. Africa is a very, very diverse place with diverse populations on planet Earth. Yeah. Jamal Milton. Up 53. We getting there. 5 more before we get started. 5 more before we get started. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get you out of here tonight, though. Concrete Corey. And thanks to Brendan. Blame Brendan for that. Brendan brought that beautiful article on the Mediterranean. I'm gonna spot through it real quick, and I'm gonna get out that frame and leave that to y'all if y'all gonna be arguing over that, because I'm not arguing with y'all about no damn Egypt. I'm gonna put it down when I gotta put it down and let y'all squirm whatever y'all think y'all want to do it. And I'm gonna put it right there. But I'm gonna be clear. This is gonna be real clear on what it is. Got some great examples of what I'm talking about and what I mean when I say Mediterranean. And I'm gonna leave y'all to your own devices. That's what I gotta do it. I gotta know when to let it go. I just gotta know when to let it go, right? Gotta know when to let it go. I'm not going another 2 years with y'all on that. Hey, Cosmic Corey, boy, you know how to hit the button. Matter of fact, with your Cosmic Rant, you just go right to the channel and hit the go live. You did that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that way you don't got no link. Can't nobody get on. Can't nobody harass you. Yeah. I love that. You can, when you start feeling a little soft and want to get a brother's link, you can't even give us the link. You just gotta keep going. I like that.
Yeah, no doubt.
But
you can't change horses once you get in the middle of the road.
Yeah, you can't change horses, man. But I tell you what, though, like I was saying earlier, the crowd, they might not, I think they're starting to get it, that it's actually that diversity of thought that makes this channel so powerful. Never before have you seen a group of brothers who will argue, fight, argue, fight, cuss, and scream, and make up at the end of the day. Why? Because this is how the scientific community works. Simple as that. Simple as that. Right? And you'll have, at some points in an argument, brothers will agree. There'll be this side, there'll be that side, right? There'll be a majority sometimes, right? But it's in the diversity is what makes this thing strong right here. And that's what makes science strong. It's diversity and thought coming together is what makes science strong. Now, you talked a little about the Mediterranean, and as usual, you fucked it up. So what I will say is that article you brought that night, it's on the show. The show was called, because I actually gave you props on that, and then you messed it up. I had to take it. I had to get out of it. Yeah, we back kicking Pseudo's teeth in. What the hell? I ain't make that title. But on that, you read an article. I agree with that article, right? Reggie came in and say, no, they trying to trick you. I say, no, they not. I agree, because it talked about the Mediterranean, what it did for Western culture and all that, and what it meant to be, Mediterranean culture. It gave a damn good explanation. And then by the time Reggie came in, y'all got a little mad. Then y'all switched it up to that nonsense Mediterranean shit. So for me, there's a distinct line about when we talk about the Mediterranean. There's a racist line that y'all tether back and forth. So the scholarly thing about the Mediterranean, I'm talking about the up-to-date scholarly approach, and when we talk about the Mediterranean is very distinct in character to what we're talking about. And I'm going to make that distinction. I'm going to lay it down, and I'm out the framework. Y'all can keep, running back and forth. I don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, hell, I didn't write the shit. At the end of the day, I don't get no money off that shit. And at the end of the day, how they say it, to hell with that shit. I'm drinking out my golden, my Sterling Goblin. That's how we do it around here. Let me see where we at before we get the show started. But I want everybody to kind of, we at that. We here. All right. Gotta keep my tone down. But look, y'all, Black African power was good, was happening, a well-organized lie. Defeats a disorganized truth every time. Woo-hoo-wee. Man, y'all already know what it is, man. It's the Pseudo Killas on deck, and we coming to do what we got to do. We standing tall, we standing strong. Pseudo Killas on deck. Hey, man, what's good, Cosmic Coy? Boy, you had that cosmic rant today. What's good? Warm the people up. What it do? What it do? What it do?
Peace. What up, man? Man, just ready to get it in a little bit, see what you up to, see what your response is, you know what I'm saying, to my little rant or whatever.
Okay. Nah, it's all good, man. You said some things I agree, some stuff I don't agree. Hey, what it do, man? Man, Brendan. What it do? Pseudo Killer Official, man. What's good with you? What it do? All
right, man. Welcome to the brothers, man. Welcome to another show. Yeah, for sure. You know what? One of the interesting things about the show the other day that you did, well, actually yesterday over on Brother Sanchez platform, is that when you're talking to a flat earther, you never know in terms of where they sit with a lot of these different concepts and theories, right? So I think the line of questioning to sort of get your bearings and kind of understand the thought process and where those guys were landing with a lot of those theories, quote unquote, was very interesting. So I'm really interested in this particular conversation tonight. But yeah, but peace to the brothers. Peace to Cedric. Peace, Corey.
Mhm.
Peace,
Man.
peace, Brandon.
Yeah, you know, peace, Brent. Hey, you know what it is, man. Hey, Cedric, man. What it do? What it do? What it do? Pseudo Killer official, man. What it do?
Peace to the panel, peace to the chat, peace God Killer, peace Corey, peace Brendan. You know how it is. Sitting, watching, looking at the pseudos popping up. When I get an opportunity, I gotta clear the air because you got a call based on me being a liar. So I'm gonna clear the air on that one. And I get an opportunity in regards to the conversation I had the other day.
So let's come
It's
to
all
the
good.
text. Page 4 in this text right here by Donald Prethero. Man, that's my man right there, yo. I got a couple books on the table. Oh man. Donald.
And for those that are members of the Pseudo Killers Discord, we actually have the digital copy of Weird Earth as well for you guys that want to check that out and sort of read along. I have the Audible book. I actually started checking that out yesterday. It's a really, really good listen. It's a good read.
So get that flat earth shit out of here, book.
That's the one subject I won't debate.
Oh yeah, well you ain't gonna be around because we diving in. We ain't got no choice. Yeah, we got no choice. It's not a debate though. See, that's the difference. We've already, by scientific facts, by the organizing of scientific facts, we have a pretty good understanding of the size and shape of the earth, and we do understand it changes based off of plate tectonics, plates moving, continental drift, mountain ranges coming and going, ice ages coming, drawing water out the oceans. A lot of stuff causes the earth to change size and shape. So geodesity, and I'm probably saying it wrong, but I'll pull it up for y'all. But let me come to the text real quick. Page 3, what is science? I think most of us actually don't understand science, okay? Let's see. Yes, science is a way of thinking about the world, not how you dress or what toys you play with. Science is thinking critically about phenomenon in the natural world and trying to find ways to test hypotheses, or primarily explanation about how the world works. As philosopher George Santana wrote, science is nothing but developed perception, interpreted intent, common sense rounded out, and mutually articulated. It says all science, once again, all science is about testing hypotheses and finding out their validity by further observations and experimentation. Scientists generally aren't trying to prove their hypotheses, but disprove them. See, right there, that's counterintuitive. You wouldn't think that. I'm gonna say it again. Scientists generally aren't trying to prove their hypothesis, but to disprove them. As British philosopher Sir Karl Popper pointed out many years ago, it's far easier to prove a hypothesis wrong, falsify it, than it is to prove it right, verify it. The famous example is the classic philosophical statement, all swans are white. No number of white swans proves that statement true, but a single non-white swan proves it false. Indeed, there are black swans in Australia. If your hypothesis has been tested and found false, you watch this, you must abandon it and move on to another explanation, perhaps one suggested by your previous failure. Popper titled one of his books, Conjectures and Refutation, a nice summary of the scientific method in the single phrase. So that kind of speaks to Asahotep, right? When I read that, that came to my mind like, come on, man, like y'all gotta kind of like, move on, right? And keep at it, right? So for me, just because your hypothesis was wrong, right, doesn't mean that you was a quack, doesn't mean none of that. But what it does mean is if you truly have a scientific mind, then you'll move on. And let me finish it off with this. This idea surprises a lot of people, but it is true. Strictly speaking, science is about proving ideas wrong and moving on, not proving them right. Scientists are not looking for the final truth or proving something absolutely true. Scientific explanations must always be open to further scrutiny and testing. They are tentative and must be capable of being rejected. See, that's good for me right there. So when I said at the beginning of the show, right, that the merit of ideas and thoughts that we have on this show is very, very healthy. It becomes a cult when everybody says the exact same thing at the exact same time, and there's a robot, where they're all saying the same thing. There's no room for growth and development, and there's no room for diversity. Remember, in nature, it's diversity in the gene pool that will stop one virus like coronavirus from wiping us all out. If all the genes were the exact same, coronavirus would have wiped us out. Anybody want to add to that right there? I wanted to start the show off with that.
I like how the author described the idea of that science isn't necessarily concerned with getting to the truth, right? That was a reoccurring theme yesterday while you was on the panel. If you could kind of listen into some of the line of thinking for the guys that were flat earthers. They said they're talking about this flat earth truth, or we're revealing this truth. Well, in reality, science is not concerned with getting to the truth, right? Science deals with probability, right? Things that we can say, we can attest with a relatively high degree of certitude, right? And things that have been tested through observation and experimentation. So I like that whole idea of saying, okay, well, no, we're not concerned with the truth when you're talking about science.
Exactly. Science is
we deal with probability, right?
Yes, it explains the phenomena. It finds a way to explain the phenomena as we observe. So how does the natural world operate? And based on more and more understanding, we keep adding to that story. But it's simply a method to explain phenomena that we observe. It's a way to distinguish which hypothesis for the observation has validity, which one is imaginary, which one is real. I can say leprechauns are the material of which subatomic particles are made. That's a hypothesis. Now I need to demonstrate that. And when I demonstrate that, I need to now make a testable prediction, which actually validates my explanation, which is the hypothesis. So it's a process by which we come to correct knowledge, and truth is simply a statement which is in conformity with reality. So when you hear people speak about my truth, my journey, my this, you start to have to put your ears up, right? And we're hearing that now in this conscious community. People read, now they're sourcing up, but they're drawing their own conclusions. Or I interpret it as this. My truth is, and they stray away from what the actual evidence is indicating.
Corey, you want to add something to that?
Yeah, I totally agree with the author there. I definitely like that book, Weird Earth. I recommend that. That's a kind of goes along with the book Escaping the Rabbit Hole. So yeah, I definitely like that.
Got that flat earth on the cover for y'all.
Man. And as well, if I could just add just another, just a quick point, right? A lot of the flat earthers, they sort of style themselves as scientific skeptics as well, right? But on the surface, right, it's somewhat disingenuous, right, when they say that, right? Because being a skeptic, right, it doesn't mean being skeptical in light of information, in the face of evidence, right? You don't remain skeptical, right, in defiance of evidence, right? When you see evidence and proof and observation, right, that's where you say, okay, well, I should be able to adjust my skeptical mind, right, to be able to accept, right, the evidence and the information that science is putting forward, right? Being a skeptic doesn't mean shaking your fist, right, in defiance of new information.
Exactly. Yeah, skepticism is at the root, but again, it too is part of the complete process. What do you actually have to quantify and to validate your claim? That is where skepticism starts. Once you have the evidence, you examine the evidence and you're supposed to go where the evidence leads. You cannot remain skeptical, like you're skeptical of evolution when we have a complete body of work. We have a theory of evolution. It's being tweaked here and there, but we have a theory of evolution. Now, to talk about being skeptical of evolution at this point in time, you're just being disingenuous.
Okay. Yep. So it's with, and man, like I said, man, shout out to Brother Sanchez channel, man. And yeah, y'all gonna think this is wild, but I suggest you go over there and just check it out and learn how they fighting, learn how they using their words, learn what ideas they're using. That's how I got good at what I was doing, not being afraid to dive in to the opposing side. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, we're all novice, okay? We want to transmit scientific ideas, but how do you handle that? And so Brother Sanchez channel kind of allows you to know what your family members are going to be saying. Hell, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't like your family members are experts, and it allow you to develop rebuttals. It allow you to look up sources to kind of understand their mindset. So I got a pretty good, I've debated Sanchez before on evolution. And so I got a pretty good working knowledge on how his mind works. And the people go like the leader go. And since he's a transmitter of these ideas, a lot of people that come on his channel are actually espousing his ideas. And so, when I'm over there, first of all, I'm over there, I have a good time. All right, the brother, like I said, his propensity to control the climate of the panel is great. So we can all learn something from each other. No matter how much we disagree, he refuses to allow that shit to get out of control. I like that about him. I like that. That we can have that conversation. And for me, right, as long as I can be heard and ain't got to do a whole lot of extra cussing me out, like that, for me, it's a win, because I'm gonna get you in the end. Like that's the environment where you can hear that, like y'all can hear that idea about what science is. You can hear it, you can get it. It sticks better. So yeah, but we're gonna be over there, right? We're gonna let them come over here, and y'all gonna see how it works. Remember, at the end of the day, science is undefeated. So let me go ahead and push Cosmic Koi out of here, so that he will never ever again try to attempt to play this game about the Mediterranean. Let me tell you what the Mediterranean is real quick before I come to any source. I'm gonna have one source. Use Brother Brendan's source. Watch how this is. So if we was to have an area, say like we want to make some Kool-Aid, right? And say Kool-Aid is the Mediterranean. It's the finished product, right? But how do you make Kool-Aid? How is it that the Mediterranean becomes important, okay, in the scheme of things? How does it happen? Well, with Kool-Aid, you need sugar, a whole separate product. You would never call sugar Kool-Aid. Although that sugar made that Kool-Aid sweet, that sugar is Kool-Aid. You would never say it. What you would say is add Kool-Aid. Add sugar. But just having sugar, right, without the coloring, because that's all Kool-Aid is the coloring of the water. So you need the coloring, boom. You need the sugar, boom. And you need the water, boom. You need them things to come together, right? Bring them things together and put it in a picture. Let's look at the picture as being the actual Mediterranean basin, boom. So in that picture, you got to sprinkle the coloring, you got to put the water, and you got to put the sugar, shake it up, combination of ideas, different things, and you drink a glass of Mediterranean. So at no point will we ever call the sugar, the water, and the coloring the Mediterranean. We would say the combination of those things help make up the Mediterranean. The same with the concept of the Mediterranean. If you're not understanding that distinguishing cultures came to the Mediterranean and gave pieces of itself, combination of things, so that the Mediterranean would actually flourish, become Kool-Aid, then you're missing the whole point. That is the point. When understanding it from an academic standpoint of view, modern day understanding, we understand that African and Asia, two distinct populations, came into the Mediterranean with ideas. Diverse African population, diverse Mediterranean population, and let's not forget the Semitic population, all merged at the area of confluence. The area of confluence is the area where things all come together. Now, for you to forget about the separate pieces and the distinct cultures that were created before they traveled to these areas, then you're doing us a grave injustice. What you're starting to do is you're starting to do what the early writers did, like Brest did, where they was talking about the great northern race, where the Mediterranean was theirs and theirs only, where they made it seem as if everything that came out the Mediterranean was Rome and Greece when they played that game. So not on my watch will I allow that game to be played. So can I show and prove? See, this is not my sentiments. I simply give you an example of the picture, adding the flavoring, adding the sugar, adding the water to form what you would call in the picture the Mediterranean or the Kool-Aid, right? That's an idea that you can think about. Now, that's the way I'm putting it together. Now, the question is this: can Brother show a source that talks about the Mediterranean the way I just did? Are there distinct populations traveling to the Mediterranean? Diverse ideas and concepts coming together that will later on be found in the Western world, that will later on be found in Rome and Greece? Absolutely, I can prove that. So I'm gonna pull this up real quick. I'm gonna get in and out. Let me put myself on the clock. This should take me 10:17. I'm in and out of this. And I won't do it again. I refuse to. I refuse to continue to have this conversation. I'm not gonna do it. Out of respect for my brother, Cosmic Corey, right? I'm gonna put that in. Brendan, you wanna add something to it? I'm gonna keep everybody. You wanna say something before I go in? Because you presented this article and maybe you can help me through it.
No, I would say jump into the article. I'm interested in your line of thinking.
So Brennan, do this for me. Before I get into the next part, I got my shit. Can you just read the abstract of the article, please? And I want to do this for everybody. There's some pieces in here. Let me see if I can get, I ain't gonna pull it up. I want you just to read the abstract for me, right?
Okay. Yeah,
Keep that.
and this is an abstract that we've actually read several times on the show, but it's a powerful one. I think it's very interesting, right? It says in antiquity, the regions encompassed by the Mediterranean Sea were extremely fertile, allowing rapid prosperity. This wealth, combined with the easy communication between banks, contributed to a rich and successful transmission of knowledge, especially during the first millennia BC.
So stop for a minute.
Mhm.
Stop for a minute. It just talks about the transmission. So a great geographical feature here allowed for successful transmission. I just want to bring that out. Keep going.
Which turned the Great Sea the core of ancient history. Later, the Mediterranean civilization was acknowledged as the fundamental political, cultural, artistic, and religious substratum for the construction of the so-called Western world.
Stop. That's a deep statement right there. These are the statements that John Henry Clark made. They might not have all the in-betweens, but this is what they was talking about. At least this is the lectures I heard. Not talking about the mistakes they made. They laid a foundation. So when I hear this, I'm like, wow, this article was written in what, 2017? But I've been heard this. Okay? I've been heard this. Okay? Keep going.
Yet it was in Egypt and Mesopotamia during the 4th and 3rd millennia BC that many of these foundations were first set.
Now stop for a minute. It says it was in, that word in means something, don't it? It doesn't say it was in the Mediterranean. It says it was in Egypt and Mesopotamia. So there's a place called Egypt that is located in Africa where these ideas are nurtured at. There's a place called Mesopotamia, Tigris-Euphrates River, where these ideas were nurtured at. And then what happens? Go ahead.
It says the ancient Mediterranean world was not just influenced by its African and Asian neighbors, but was in fact defined by a profound communion at all levels between these different regions.
So that's important right there. It said the ancient Mediterranean world was not just influenced. So watch this. There's a world that exists in the Mediterranean, right? And it was influenced, but it not just was influenced by Africa and its African neighbors, but it was what, in fact, defined by the profound communion coming together. When I talk about the ingredients at all levels between these different regions. So we look up the area of confluence. That's an area where people come together at, right? But you're not coming together empty-handed. You're coming with something. You're bringing it there. I just want to make these distinctions. Keep going.
In the 21st century, however, many European countries still insist in portraying themselves as direct heirs of the combined Greco-Roman and Judeo-Christian traditions, disregarding their African and Asian roots.
Stop. This is all Dr. Benjamin was saying. That's all they were saying. And we shot them down like a motherfucker. They ain't said no more than that. Now, maybe they overemphasized points. Maybe they didn't have the
Dr. Benjamin.
Oh, I'm getting off, yo. You ain't doing me like that, yo. We ain't doing that. In the middle of me, you gonna be crazy? That's what you doing?
No, man, just go ahead and finish, man. I mean,
that's what we doing.
He just interjected.
How they said, when you throw a rock, hit Doug Howard.
Because you threw Dr. Ben in them in there.
Yeah, see that? See? Hey, Corey, I might have to do the channel and don't let nobody on. I might have to do that.
No.
All right, go ahead. Keep going. Keep going.
Go ahead. Yeah, let's just stay on track. Let's stay on track.
All right. So as a result of this flawed self-perception, a gap between Europe, Africa, and Asia came to be, bearing deep consequences to the present. With this contribution, we aim to reclaim the importance of these other legacies to the construction of the cradle of the civilization.
Yeah, construction. Okay, so that's a good starting point right there, right? To make my point. I want to come to page 7. So I want to do. Then I'm gonna let y'all dive all in and do whatever y'all want to do. I'm gonna come to page 7 real quick, right? And on page 7, I just want to come right here. Let's see where I'm at. Let's see, I'm on page 7. Let me see. Right. Okay. Yeah, if we come right here, let's see. It's kind of in this chapter right here. It's basically talking about how, you know, the early construction of culture or statehood kind of mirrors, you know, in urbanization parallels Mesopotamia. And it just talks right here again. This allowed the development of both agriculture, husbandry, making the area along the banks of a natural place for the establishment of human communities. Right. Let's come right here. Egyptian geographical context was likewise exceptional. It says the fortune of being crossed by the Nile. It says with its regular floods, which impelled Egyptians to keep a controlled calendar of the river rhythms very early in time, turned its banks extremely fertile. Again, this allowed, you're talking about the Nile now, this allowed the development of both agriculture and husbandry, making the area along the banks a natural place for establishment of human communities, right? Soon the urbanization process began paralleling the one in Mesopotamia. There's a source right there, 8. Let's see what 8 says. This is important. Let's come right here. Through the urbanization process happens, it says though the urbanization process happenings roughly at the same time in both territories, talking about Mesopotamia, Egypt, it must be stressed that the early Egyptian city-states were smaller, both in population, density, as well as in extension. Okay, that's a distinction right there. That's important to know. What I would like to tell you is that those communities on the Nile Valley, they start out mobile communities. In Mesopotamia, they were sedimentary villages. That's a distinct difference. So it wasn't like a population standing right here. They were moving back and forth. Like the Native Americans would move back and forth. Okay? Just want to put that out there. So I'm right here. Hold on. Okay. All right. Let's see. So if we come here, okay, talk about the Delta real quick. Hold on. We'll come right here. Okay. All right. Y'all can get this article. It say in the north, the territory opened itself to the Great Sea. That would be the Mediterranean, with the Delta region displaying increased levels of prosperity. Let's see. When compared to the south, watch this. The Mediterranean rose the curiosity of the Egyptian mind with the promise of new discoveries, adventures, and exchange with the ancient world. Okay? So they're looking at this area saying, man, that's the spot we go to. Not a spot we're starting to. Now watch this. This is going to be the distinguishing factor. It says, despite, go ahead, Brennan, you read this right here. Go ahead.
All right. So despite the existence of this northern challenge, the weight of the main geographical characteristics was heavier and presented them as determinant in the Egyptian choice for a political model. The monarch led by the pharaoh. It says, one can say that contrary to the Mesopotamian geography, the Egyptian one encouraged political unification in a centralized state that embraced the whole territory since its origins. At the end of the 4th millennia BC, the southern Egyptian cities like Heracleopolis, Abydos, Nagada, and Tarkhan searched the unification of the land in order to make the better of the geographical conditions. Hence, the pharaoh emerged as a charismatic divine figure which materialized the central and unified force of the Nile. From then on, there were 3 major political periods in the history of this civilization, where unification was the rule: old, middle, and new kingdoms. Right? The moments of political fragmentation were short. Right? In the Logu Deri, as always considered as a chaotic disruption of the primeval order.
So this is a important point right here. Yeah, at the end of the fourth millennium, the South, the southern Egyptian cities like what? Megalopolis, Abydos, Nakata, and Taharkan searched the unification of the land in order to make the better of the geographical conditions. Hence, the pharaoh emerged as charismatic divine figure which materialized the central and unification force of the Nile. So we're talking about kingship coming from the South. We're talking about the geography leading credence to this. I'm gonna say this again. That's an important part for you to get. We're talking about the South in Egypt. The Pharaoh is coming from. Now watch how we do this. We're gonna move forward, okay?
I thought we was just going to page 7.
Hey, yo, you want a whole hour and a half. Be quiet. I got it. You want to add something to that? You want to play? Or you want to let me finish?
No,
I'm winding it down. I'm winding it down.
Things
I
to say,
what,
I don't want to
speak to
forget
that.
them.
No, speak to that though. Did I make that up?
Well, I want to say something about what you said in the beginning, but you know.
All right, yeah, we can go back over page by page. I'm on page. Who we at? Page. You want to dispute what that lady just wrote? You want to dispute?
No, I'm not disputing anything.
I
didn't hear anything that you read that disagrees with what I said.
Okay, I don't know what that means. I have no idea what you mean. Now, where you at, Brandon? Go ahead.
All right, so you're gonna start at the top.
Is you trying to make an argument?
No, I'm reading. I'm making my point on what the Mediterranean is. I'm making my points here. Not arguing nothing. I'm responding.
At the end, you're gonna give me a summary. You're gonna summarize what your point is, right?
I can tell you my point right now. I gave it earlier, and y'all wasn't listening. That there's a bowl, and in that bowl there's Kool-Aid. But you need different ingredients to come together to make that goddamn Kool-Aid. And it doesn't mean that Kool-Aid, you have to separate the ingredients. All the ingredients went into the Mediterranean.
Yeah, I always said that too.
Okay, all right, so we good.
I still ain't heard no.
Okay, we good. So I just want to make sure you saying that. Just making sure. Because somewhere along the line, that translate, you do this. I heard a lot of people say, yeah, this is an indigenous African civilization. Then everything after that, you explain that shit to some far off land somewhere. I've heard it done. And it's very confusing. So I'm making
what?
my point
I
clear.
do what? I was confused by that.
I'm gonna say that again. People will say that Egypt or Nubia or South Africa is an indigenous civilization, but were orientated to somewhere in the Far East. This is exactly what Europeans did. They orientated that shit to their homeland, which was the Mediterranean, which is exactly what you're not supposed to do. You got to talk about what these people.
Who's homeland?
Don't do it. Hey, Corey, we got you on tape, Corey. Don't play the game.
I don't know.
Okay, all right. Look, so maybe
that was cloudy. I can't. I'm not gonna argue with everything. I can't argue. What I do want to say something about what you said in the beginning, though. If you're done,
I'm not done yet because I ain't. You was jumping. You jumping. Don't be jumpy. I'm gonna let y'all.
No, I'm just saying. I've been waiting patiently.
You haven't, man. You went a whole hour. Let me tell you how long you went.
Yeah, that was because I was on the panel by myself, though.
You're slowing me down. So you want me to start another show and finish it? I can. If that's what we asking for right now, I'll surely do that.
I just want you to go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So don't rush me. You didn't get rushed. You sat back. You had your Air Pilot shirt on. You had the Bears victory shirt on, and you was sitting back in the Air Pilot. You was there chilling.
I felt some kind of way. I seen you be moored out earlier. It made me feel some kind of way.
Yeah, because that was.
So I had to go.
All right, so go ahead. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. All
right. So due to the proximity and intimate contact with the Mediterranean world, both Egyptian and Mesopotamian political models spread along the Great Sea. Naturally,
It spread along the Great Sea. Key word there, it spread. Keep going.
Man, what the?
naturally adapting themselves to those different contexts.
There you go. So they did what? They spread along the Great Sea, naturally adapting themselves to those different contexts. They adapted to that environment.
Jeffrey.
Keep going. Go ahead, Brendan.
All right. So throughout centuries, we identify not only Phoenician and Greek city states, but also Hellenistic monarchies in Anatolia and in Rome. And even though the imperial construction appears in Mesopotamia and Egypt later in time, with the government of the Akkadian dynasty between the 24th and 22nd century BC, and during the New Kingdom period between the 16th and 11th century BC, one must say that this political model, which was fully developed by the Persians, Alexander the Great, and the Romans, also had its roots in these ancient civilizations.
Right. So it's telling you that Roman, Greece, and all that shit, they had its roots in these great civilizations right here. That's pertaining. So let's move on. Page 10. We're winding down.
Oh my God! You said you were ending that page 7.
Man, I'm saying, yo, I don't gotta do this. Yo, I can do this on another page. I can stop right now because I'm making it clear. Now, if you strong in what you think you know, I'm making my point. Y'all can twist it and do it in kind of way you want to do it. I do not have a problem with that, brothers. I really don't. If you want to just talk against the article or act like you agree with the article and say something different, then by all means, I
don't want to.
Nobody is disagreeing with the article, though,
okay,
bro.
So I'm not saying
you trying to make us disagree with it.
So where you at, Brendan? Go ahead, Brendan. We right here. Now the rubber starts to meet the road. Here you go. Let's go.
All right. Cultural interactions, the scientific knowledge that preceded logos. So throughout millennia, the Mediterranean stood as the privileged scenery for the rise and fall of several and distinct political projects. The Great Sea not only witnessed antagonisms and wars, but also dialogues and interactions. Because of its singular features, which enabled the contact between Africa, Europe, and Asia, it was possible for different people from diverse backgrounds to come together and share the task of building the ancient world, creating and negotiating ideas, beliefs, and artistic canons.
Stop for a minute. So this is very important right here for the student to understand, because of its singular features, talking about the Mediterranean, which enabled the contact between Africa, Europe, and Asia. It was possible for different, watch this, key word, it was possible for different people, not the same niggas that we hear people say all the time, but for different people from diverse backgrounds to come together and share the task of building, right, the ancient world, creating and negotiating ideas, beliefs, and artistic canon. Keep going, Brendan.
The Mediterranean can thus be seen as a place where human creativity was combined and launched for the future.
And so I'm always saying this, it's the combination of ideas and concepts made based off the geography. So the Nile doesn't allow for that, right? The Nile allows people flowing back and forth in Africa, but the Mediterranean allows 3 continents to come together, distinct, different people to come together. That's always been my stance. I'm not changing at this point. I'm right there where I want to be. I'm in what they call that sweet spot, right? Right here. I'm not saying no more than that, and I'm not adding shit to it. And I'm finished on page 11. Page 11. Here you go. Let's see. Here you go. Go ahead.
In Egypt, besides the incredible medical knowledge achieved, which were stimulated by the Neolithic fundamental cult of the dead.
Now stop for a minute.
Nihilotic, I'm sorry.
Stop. Let's look this word up. Here you go. Nilotic people.
Nilotic is, bro.
No, we don't know. I don't know.
It ain't Egyptian, but go ahead.
Nilotic peoples are people indigenous to the Nile Valley who speak Nilotic languages. They inherit South Sudan, Ethiopia, Uganda, Kenya, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Rwanda, and Tanzania. There you go. I'm gonna leave it right there. We're gonna stay where we at. Brendan, read that again, please, for me.
It didn't say they was from Egypt.
Brendan, can you read that again for me, please?
In Egypt, besides the incredible medical knowledge achieved, which was stimulated by the Nilotic fundamental cult of the dead.
Stop. I want y'all to research that. Now, argue this shit, I refuse to. Simple as that. Keep going. Other what?
Other breakthroughs were accomplished. The imperative need of establishing a calendar was felt by Egyptians, not only in order to control the Nile, but also to define the religious festivals. This led to remarkable advances regarding the knowledge about the firmament and the movement of the stars and planets.
Stop. So I just want to stop right here. Let's come to the other thing. Come to the other group of people. Go ahead, Brendan. Likewise.
Man, it's so much I want to say.
Just let me finish, bro. I'm at the end, bro. I'm at the end. Either hold your horses. Go ahead, Brendan.
Likewise, the Mesopotamian sages also looked at the movements of the celestial bodies in order to set up a calendar for their religious and daily life activities. Astronomy was thus taking its first steps in the banks of the Nile, the Tigris, and the Euphrates.
Stop right there. Let's see. Hold on. Where's these Semitic peoples at? Real quick. Okay, here you go. Go ahead.
It says, moreover, the Semites, whose presence in Mesopotamia is attested to the end of the 4th millennium BC, brought with them another particular interest that made their attention to be affixed in the sky, the search for divine messages concealed by the deities in the natural world.
Stop right there. So they're talking about different groups of people bringing what they had to the Mediterranean world. It named distinct populations. It talked about the Semites, it talked about the Egyptians, and it talked about the people from Mesopotamia. Simple as that. No arguing, no back and forth. This shit is clear. Ain't adding nothing to it, ain't making it what it ain't trying to say it's this, ain't trying to say it's that. It's none of this, none of that. Ain't no back and forth, none of that. Finish them off with this, bro, and I'm done. I'm gonna let them holler and scream and act like it ain't you making us disagree. I'm not making nobody do nothing. Go call her ass up and argue with her. I'm not doing it. Go ahead. Go ahead, Brendan. I'm done.
Right. A deeper understanding of this ancient history, of these ancient roots, will allow the 21st century Western world to understand its cumulative identity, reconnecting modern society with their Middle East and African backgrounds. And perhaps the waters that once were the cradle of civilization and are nowadays transformed in an immense graveyard of people, of souls, due to ignorance and prejudice against the alterity, which is part of the Western identity, can once again shine, enlightening the path of dreams and hopes for the modern world.
Yeah, and I'm done with that. And, shout out to the early African Americans that wrote the books like Black Man and Nihilist Family, Africa, the Mother of Western Civilization. All those books actually speak to that from a non-expert point of view. So, like we say, non-experts are going to make far more mistakes, but their theme and what they were saying was clear, at least to me. And I will end with that. I'm not arguing that shit. If y'all want to say something about it, y'all can. I'm officially done with this subject. Any more information coming from me, y'all gonna have to pay for it. And I promise you this. Go ahead, say what you gotta say, do what y'all gotta do. I'm done.
Corey, let me go first real quick.
Go ahead.
I know you got a lot to say. Now, I would say that, I just preface my statements by saying that, I hope you don't think that we are trying to disagree with the article. And it's disingenuous to frame us against the article like it's beating our argument up. That's just trying to start an argument to put us against an article or a position that we have put forth in the first place. Is how would you try to put us against a position that we put forth in the first place? We'll be crazy to start running at the article when it's echoing our position. So he went that long to try to act like we're saying something different than what the article is saying. Corey, you can go ahead.
Yeah, that's one of the first things I was gonna say is I didn't hear nothing in that article that disagrees with what I've said. Nothing in that article says anything different from what I'm saying. Right.
All right,
But
and we can move forward then, Carl McCoy. There's nothing else to say, bro, because I didn't say y'all was nothing. I simply gave you my position.
Well,
and I add nothing else to that.
It's kind of the way
But
that
you didn't
represented it.
change.
And
You
you
didn't
did
change.
add to
If
it.
you didn't change, we wouldn't have been arguing that, yo. That's the point. Somebody has have to have changed their position. It's either us or you. Now, either we lying or you lying. Somebody got to make the distinction right now, because it would have been. It's crazy if we argued for 5 months and now we're saying the same thing. Fuck no. Fuck no. Somebody changed. And I know I ain't changed.
I think you have, my brother. I think both of you brothers have changed based off of the weight of scientific evidence that mashed y'all heads through the concrete. Now y'all want to act like y'all was always, y'all never was. In private little conversations,
that's his shit.
Sneak, but when you
that's
get
what he's saying.
Corey say, yo, they the same niggas. If we do like this, yo, they the same nigga. He do like this.
This whole show, supposed to been about Wuja, right? This Sunday night at the movies supposed to have been about Wuja.
Do I hear something? Let's move forward then.
No, but you had to get that off, but to act like you love to argue with us.
Hold on.
You love to argue and tell us we was wrong.
I want to play
These
something.
niggas been wrong for the last 10 years.
Oh,
but you get off and telling us we fucking wrong. When you gonna tell these niggas they fucking wrong?
Hold on, let me share my screen. Hold on, let me share my screen.
Would you gonna present something counter that, or you gonna be on the same thing? But you don't.
No, I just want to share something. That's all.
Go ahead, share.
And y'all, you had your time, so let's listen. Let's listen to Wuja and Sheffrin, because I think both of these guys is reasonable, right? I think Sheffrin is very reasonable. And I think Wuja is reasonable, right?
Okay.
So let's listen to them have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
A geographical conversation to locate something in space, on the globe, on the Earth, on the map, and stuff like that. The reference point of the Mediterranean Sea, you got 20 countries that are counted within that grouping. Egypt is one of them. So whatever Egypt does, Egypt could be gambling, Egypt could be at a strippers club or wherever, it could be known for all that kind of stuff. It will always geographically be considered Mediterranean. So like I said, I wanted to put a full period on that and move forward. Now, when we talk about the culture, this is where people are misusing it, because when I hear people talk about Egypt being a Mediterranean culture, skipping country culture, people are using it as if to say that it's not an African culture.
No,
no, wait. I'm not saying,
the bullshit.
But hold up, wait. We can't be naive. Now, Sheffrin, I'm not accusing you of saying it, so I don't want you to think that. But wait, though.
Corey and everybody around them, yo.
But wait.
Same thing, the fallacy. So this is where y'all argument.
No. Listen, hold up. But Sheffrin, let me just finish, because I can pull up receipts of clips, and I'm not gonna do it right now. It's late, but I am going to do it because I don't want you to think that I'm naive or I'm doing some logical fallacy stuff. I can pull up Chief X saying it. I could pull up conversations on this channel where some people said it. I don't even remember who said it, but I got the receipts.
Well, hold on. What did they say?
They were
said
saying,
it's just
okay,
coke,
okay,
and they
okay.
all the
Here,
same niggas. They all
here-
look alike. They all eat
here-
the same food. Say, come on, man.
hold on, wait,
You
wait.
in the
Here,
car
here-
with them.
okay, here's the.
Egypt do that. Egypt does participate in the greater motherfucking Mediterranean world.
Man,
No,
they
I'm not, but
trade,
that's not what I'm
nigga,
saying, man.
and they fight
do
wars.
share similar people as the other people in the Mediterranean.
Okay, so why they name it that then? So then give me a logical explanation on why it's. I'm saying inner Africa was just as important to Egypt as the Mediterranean was.
So okay, so listen.
Do we agree to that?
So didn't I tell you that it was both Mediterranean, it was both Nile Valley, right? We said it was all of these things. It could be more than one thing, yo.
I just want to pause it right there because Sheffrin didn't even have to argue with Unc a few minutes ago, right? All he had to do is let me play the video. He's been saying this was 5 months ago. Y'all can go look on the Pseudo Killas channel. This is 5 months ago, right? I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play a little bit more. Hold on, let me play a little bit.
Because I'm about to prove you. Watch how you dive out the window. Watch how I make you run. Go ahead, play it. Watch how you run.
All right, I just want to
go
show.
ahead, go.
Go ahead. I'm gonna play it.
Go.
But every time somebody say Mediterranean, we get all of this fucking pushback, yo.
Do you know why though?
Go
Is
ahead,
a
Buja.
logical answer for that though, yo? Or am I just a crazy ass nigga? At the
So
end of my
You do too much.
No, so all I'm saying is that the way that the conversation has been unfolding for the past like 6 months now, to me, which is crazy to me, is people are using the geographical proximity of Egypt to the Mediterranean as a weapon. They're weaponizing that geographical fact, because I'm willing to say that as a fact in the period. People are weaponizing that to try to go against and do overkill and go against Afrocentrists and blackologists and all this other kind of stuff. A case in point is the person who's championing that, and people I've heard on this channel not too far behind, but Chief X is one of the main cheerleaders for that.
Yeah,
so,
right. I'm in that car.
Okay, yeah. So okay. So I'll put you in the car. What I'm saying is that I think in a bigger scheme of things, I think that should stop, and people should just acknowledge what the reality is. The reality is yes, Egypt is a country that's included in the Mediterranean 20 countries. So by that definition, by geography, it's a Mediterranean country. The culture, though, gets its origin and genesis from the South.
I ain't talking about the origin.
No, but I'm saying the genesis. What I'm saying that everything that we call in ancient Egypt, all the things that we love, its iconography, its writing system, it's all that kind of stuff, has a genesis in the South, and the way the cultural movement came from a.
But that's the part I still don't really understand.
That's when you fuck it all up, dog.
I still don't understand what he mean by that.
See,
like,
all right, we done. All right, we're gonna move forward.
I don't understand. Though.
All right, we done. I don't care if you don't understand now. I don't care. We done.
Why?
I don't care. I don't care. Go ahead. I'm not arguing with you. Since you don't understand that's why we here, bro. We here because of that.
Well,
you seen the article say that? The article just told you the shit was coming from the South and how everybody went to the Mediterranean. No. It said all that, bro.
The article said they got some of the medical knowledge from the Nubians. What you just read?
Man.
Brendan, what did that article just say?
No, man, that was late on.
Hold on, let me stop sharing.
Yeah, I'm done. I don't care, yo. We can do the replay. I'm done. Seriously, bro. If that's all you heard, you was eating. I'm done. Man. It's the kingship coming from the South, yo. And then I went on down and pulled out some burial practice from the dead and all that. Come on, dude. But it say the kingship started in the name of southern cities. It did that.
No, nobody's talking about the kingship, huh? I didn't say anything.
What the fuck, yo? That's the whole thing.
No, I'm talking about the population.
Hey, Brendan, go ahead and pay the bill. All right, yo, I'm done, yo. I'm done. I'm seriously, yo. I ain't doing it, yo. Because see what you're doing right now. You doing exactly what I said you was gonna do. You're gonna say you agree to Wu Jia and all that. Then right in the video.
No, I didn't say with every word.
Chef said, right. I'm in the call with him on that. He explained it and said, yeah, I'm with that. So that's my whole point. Y'all say one thing and do another. That's why I ain't so done. It don't make no sense, dog. Like, okay, man, I'm done. You can go ahead. I'm not speaking on that no more. I'm done. Seriously, you can go ahead and make your point, and I won't follow up on it. Make a good one.
No, I just think you misunderstanding on that.
That's fine. Possibility. Yo, I'm not an expert, yo. Maybe later on in life, y'all come back to this and revisit it. But right now, yo, based off that reading of that article, based off the article you presented a couple days ago, yo, I'm riding with that to the motherfucking wheels fall off, yo. Until more information come and change that. I'm done. But go ahead, Brennan, yo, strike up the video, yo. Oh, shit.
All right. So getting back to the topic of the flat earth, I presume.
Right. Well, it's partially flat earth and partially what I said earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because what you just read in that book earlier, the Weird Earth or whatever.
Yeah.
It talks about just what I was talking about earlier, right? And you heard Sanchez reference earlier the whole Egypt shit, right? And that's what I was saying. Like, you gotta acknowledge that the Egypt shit, right? The whole holding on to that bullshit, right? That's a catalyst to the bullshit, man.
Yeah. But it's the misinformation, though. It's the misinformation and the misunderstanding of Egypt.
But they ain't got no
scientific information around it. They just use the word.
My point is, they ain't got no business over there in the first place.
Man, whatever, yo. I'm just saying it's the misuse of information that is
the reason why it gets to them. Let me tell you why it gets to them, because they think it's them. That's why it resonates with them.
All right.
They actually think they Egyptian. They think they queens and kings and shit.
And Hutch said it best on your show that you did before this show, Corey. He said the whole conscious community was based off of reclaiming ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
The whole basis. The whole Amun-Ra squad, all of this shit was based off of reclaiming ancient Egypt. That's why we're here.
No, that's
the elephant in the room.
No, the elephant in the room is you don't know
that's the elephant in the room. I don't want to hear
what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, so the whole Amun-Ra squad wasn't based off of doing nothing.
I ain't gonna let y'all lie to me. I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm not gonna let y'all lie.
Bye. Yeah, get out. Go. You're out of there. Hit Doug, holler and run. Hit Doug, holler and run. You gonna sit there and tell me why I started the Amun-Ra squad. That's some sick ass shit right there. That shit don't even make no damn sense. That wasn't in my damn mind reclaiming no damn Egypt. My shit was always.
You gotta at least admit though,
Huh?
You gotta at least
I'm not admitting it, man. I ain't never agreed with the position of Sanchez in the pseudoscientific community on Egypt.
No, I didn't say Sanchez.
Go find a video when I said African Americans was Native Americans or fucking Egyptians, then I'll apologize. Until you find that video, I got 1,000 shit, nigga. Go find that video when I said that. Go do that.
No.
I ain't never said that.
Talking about. He's not talking about that.
No, but I'm saying the Amun-Ra squad one did it's just a name, nigga. Y'all tripping with the name.
That's not what we're talking about.
No damn Egypt, yo. My shit was evolution, yo. Right?
No, well, the whole thing. Let's go back to Haskell's statement. Let's not even.
Yeah, but he ain't talking about me. He talking about the conscious. I was always anti-conscious community, dog.
not talking
That's
about.
why it's horrible to do that. Because remember, I'm that guy who everybody hated. I was the different guy. Remember, I'm the different guy. Didn't say I was perfect, Corey, but I was definitely that different nigga. And everybody was saying, yo, you attacking the elders. Yo, you against Egypt. Yo, you against, yo, that was me, yo. It's kind of
Again,
hard to put me in that barrel with everybody.
I'm gonna have to share my screen again here, man. This ain't a video. I'm just gonna keep us in order. And Brendan, you can go ahead here. I'm gonna share my screen just for a brief second, just briefly, and then you can take it away, Brendan. Because I want to keep this in mind while we talk about this, because it seems like, you know, I'm crazy or something. I think you be trying to make it seem like I'm crazy, man. I don't appreciate that, man.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
I do. It seems like that sometimes.
How you gonna tell me what I was thinking in my mind? That's crazy, yo. You ain't make no damn sense.
No,
All those Mediterranean niggas, the same niggas still.
Yeah, he's still saying it. That's what I'm saying. He ain't saying what that article saying. That's saying that article clearly says different people came into that motherfucker and then named them.
No, when I talk about
Semites, no, I don't know.
Listen,
bro. Yeah,
I'm gonna explain myself.
Yeah, please do.
Because obviously, all the Mediterranean, there's diversity along the Mediterranean. I'm not gonna say there's not, but when I talk about this region right here, this is this region that I keep talking about right here. Yeah. The region. I don't give a fuck about, because you got 3 continents in this region right here. So I don't give a damn which continent the niggas is on. Choose one. It don't matter to me, right? This region, these niggas on, right? This region right here. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about all these niggas.
All right, bro.
It's the same niggas. Look at Cairo. Look at downtown Egypt. Then come right here. Look at Jerusalem. Look at where Jesus was born. Right. The river. This is you see the Sinai Peninsula here. Mm-hmm. North and South Sinai. You see that? Mm-hmm. You know that's Egypt, right? Mm-hmm. That's Egypt. Mm-hmm. Where Israel at? You see Israel right there? Mm-hmm. Right? You see the Gaza, you got the Gaza Strip right there. Gaza. Right? You got Jordan and all of that right there. Mm-hmm. Jerusalem. All that, right? Mm-hmm. Nazareth. Then in the backyard, right? Mm-hmm. Look who you got in the backyard, right? Mm-hmm. The other boys, the other Arab, your other Arab niggas. This whole region, right? The biblical Islam, Quran, Pentateuch, Tanakh,
Pentateuch,
the Book of the Dead, all of it, man. This is where you get this shit at, right? And this region is responsible for some of the greatest things, right? But also they're responsible for the most bullshit in the world. And we keep on drawing ourselves somehow to this region. First we Christians, then we don't want to be Christians no more. So we go to Islam. Then we don't want to be Islam no more. Then we reclaim Cairo, Alexandria, and the rest of it, right?
Corey, you're having 2 different conversations. You need to slow down. You're bringing this emotional conversation into a geographical one.
Let them have
Again, Greece. Croatia,
I'm not talking about
Spain.
Greece. Is not in it.
All of this is
Greece
the
is not in this
Mediterranean. So
picture.
when you refer
Greece is not in this picture. Greece ain't in this picture.
No, you can't. When you
Greece
say
ain't in this picture.
Mediterranean, when you say Mediterranean, you can't.
I'm talking about a
narrow it.
specific region in the Mediterranean. Okay,
Corey,
I know
that's not
that it is a
conversation.
Mediterranean.
That's
We can
not the
look at the
conversation
Mediterranean
that we've been
and we
having.
can look at.
Now you're moving the goalpost.
No, I'm not moving the
You
goalpost.
actually are. Because when we're having a conversation about the Mediterranean, and I keep insisting, no, it's not. It's because the Mediterranean is a big place, 20 countries.
It is.
So now when you quantify that conversation, it's kind of confusing. When you narrow it down to a region, it's not the Mediterranean.
I'm talking about a region
now when outside of the Mediterranean, because that particular region right there has a specific name. Within the Mediterranean, it has a specific name. Just like up by the
said that
Sea.
earlier. If you would have watched my video earlier, I actually said that it jogs my mind, right? The name of that specific, the name of it, right? So I didn't say that, but I have it up here. You know what I'm talking about because I actually have it on the screen, right? So why you bringing Greece up? I don't understand why
because when we talk about the Mediterranean,
I gotta be talking about
when we talk about the Mediterranean, right? We're talking about the Phoenicians, we're talking about the Greeks, we're talking about the Spanish.
Yes, broadly, yes, we're talking about all of those, yes. But earlier, when I said that earlier, right? Because I talked about the Mediterranean broadly, right? You had an argument when I included Egypt in that. You said I couldn't. There was an argument, but now here you're talking about all these 20 countries that make up the Mediterranean. As I was arguing earlier, that Egypt was one of those, right? I already argued that. But now
it's a country bordering the Mediterranean. It's not a Mediterranean culture. I'm going to stay right where I am. It's one of the countries that is on the Mediterranean. It's not a Mediterranean culture. I must stay right where I am.
It's one of them. All of these countries,
they have a Mediterranean culture. There is no culture that unifies them to unifies them to the Mediterranean.
I beg to differ.
It's just a geographical location.
And I think
it's just a geographical location. Okay, good. So I'm gonna say it again. Egypt is not a Mediterranean
article just refuted that. He just refuted that. This article just refuted that.
No, it didn't. No, it actually didn't. But anyway.
Well, you give me an article that say what you saying. Show me something that says what you saying. Because I've pulled up everything that I've said. Hold on,
now we're out of the Mediterranean
because you're not pulling things up,
and we're right now in the Levant.
You're not pulling anything up. You're just
and we're in the Levant. We left the Mediterranean and we're now strictly in the Levant. So now you move the goalposts.
No, I'm not moving. You're not hearing. You don't understand what my argument is. First, you have to understand what my argument is. Now I'm talking. Now I sound like
argument was flawed. Maybe your argument was flawed because when you refer to the Mediterranean, I asked specifically, are these still all Mediterranean niggas based on the article that
yes,
read?
They are. Yes.
Okay, I respect.
They are all Mediterranean niggas. Yes, they are.
So the Greek too,
didn't word it.
the Spaniards too, the Italians too.
I'm not even
the Croatians too.
You didn't word it that way at first.
All of that is Mediterranean. Are the Sicilians?
No,
all of that is Mediterranean. So they're not Mediterranean niggas. There's no such thing.
Cedric, can I make my point real quick? Because you're taking me down a rabbit hole that don't make sense here. Right. Let me just continue.
I'm actually showing you that your arguments don't.
You're asking me about being Sicilian.
Because
you're Mediterranean does not automatically
make sense.
Sicilian. No. Because you're Mediterranean does not automatically make you Sicilian. No, Cedric.
Hey, Corey,
What? Go ahead.
if we just stop saying they the same niggas, because the article
No,
actually showed distinct cultures going into that, yo. And it's like
no,
it's
no.
called an area of confluence. So they actually not the same niggas,
The
but they brought
Mediterranean
ideas to that area,
broadly,
bro, that would
broadly.
flourish. No, I'm just saying the article I read never said that.
Let me clarify this for y'all, because y'all keep arguing against.
I'm just saying, but I gave you all the
But
ingredients of what makes
that's
the
not what I'm
Mediterranean.
saying though. Let me
So how
clarify.
do we miss each other? I'm just saying, let's do
Hold
this.
on, let me,
Where are
if
we missing
because
each
y'all
other
won't
at,
never
though,
let me
Corey?
clarify. You
All right,
will
go ahead,
never be
clarify.
on the panel. You'll never
No,
be on the panel while we get clarity. And then while I'm talking, you don't ever want to hear me talk.
no,
That's why.
I'm not. You and Cedric going. I'm not going back and forth with you no more.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
you
Well,
good.
listen to
Trying to
this.
say you trying not to drown yourself right now. I'm done. I did what I did.
I'm
I'm
not.
you work your
No,
way out of it.
not. Y'all still have yet to
It's
show me
right.
something
I
that
don't know. So
disagrees with what
listen.
I'm
So
saying.
yeah, I
But
thought the
let me
article I
get to
just
my
read
point.
agrees with you. It didn't.
I didn't say it agree. I'm saying you have yet to show me show me something that disagrees with me.
Okay,
That's
so
all.
I'm fine though. We on the same page. That article I read. I don't need to
Let
correct
me finish my
it. Go
point.
ahead, and I'm gonna move on. Go ahead.
Fine. I do too.
Go ahead.
My point is,
Uh-huh.
because Cedric and you keep saying
No, Cedric. No, I didn't say what
no,
Cedric said. Don't mix me
you
up.
actually did. You actually did. And I'm
I
gonna
actually didn't.
this
I
because
actually
this
didn't. I
from
actually told you
well, let
what
me
was
address you.
obvious. Anybody can do the
let me
rewind of the
separate
show.
let me separate you from Cedric.
Thank
I'll
you.
address you one by one. All right.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
This one goes out to you, right?
Yeah.
So so when I'm talking about the Mediterranean,
okay.
I'm talking about, and I say Egypt
Uh-huh.
is one of the Mediterranean cultures, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to let y'all understand that things could be more than one thing at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I could be a brother, an uncle, and a cousin.
Mm-hmm.
All at the same time, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to be one or the other. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so in it being a Mediterranean, one of the Mediterranean cultures, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's also located in what we call the Levant, right? Now, Jerusalem, the niggas, the Israel niggas, them niggas is Mediterranean too, right? But they also Levant niggas, right? It don't mean, now I'm not saying because you're Mediterranean, again, that don't mean you're Sicilian somehow. I don't know where that came from or how that came about, right?
No, he
But
actually was Sicilian Mediterranean. That's what he said.
yes, they are, right? But just because you're Sicilian, just because you're Mediterranean doesn't make you Sicilian, right? Same thing with Egypt. Just because you're Mediterranean doesn't mean you're Egyptian, right? So, again, Egypt is one of the Mediterranean cultures. It's also happens to be in North Africa, on the continent of Africa, right? It also is what we call a geopolitical term called the Middle East or Near East, right? And it's also in the Levant. So I'm just saying, and then when I say when I'm talking about all the same niggas, right? I'm talking about the Egyptian niggas and the all the biblical niggas and the Quran niggas, right? I'm saying all them niggas, right? The Pentateuch and the Tanakh niggas, right? All them niggas is the same niggas. That's what I'm talking about. They right here sleeping on top of each other. Right, lying and cheating and stealing from each other for life, and they still doing it today. But I'm gonna let Brendan go ahead. I'm done. That's my point.
Gotcha.
All right.
All righty.
So swinging back to the original topic, I guess we were talking about the flat Earth and the premiere that Brother Unk did over at the Brother Sanchez channel, right? This particular clip, right? Just to kind of frame. Well, let me try to frame this a bit, right? In terms of the discussion before we just jump right into the video. Now, Unc, you made reference to a particular word on the panel yesterday. The word is called geodesity, right?
Yep.
And one of the interesting things about geodesity, if you actually take a look and you look up the term, right, it's an entire field of study that deals fundamentally with three things when you're talking about the Earth, right? So for one, it talks about the shape and structure of the Earth, right, from a scientific perspective, right? The second is the Earth's orientation in space, right? And one of the third things that it's concerned with is gravity. So all of these different aspects, right? Geodesity actually studies this, right? And Unc asked the question, to the panel, and it was quite a few flat earthers that were on the panel with him. He was like, "Hey, have you guys ever heard of the term geodesity?" Right? And it was sort of like crickets, right? He's like, "Okay, well, no one really knows what that is," which was very interesting to me. Is that because everything that these guys, they built an entire community, right, around a scientific concept or a scientific field of study, right, that they're completely oblivious to, right? So this whole concept of geodesity, right, that's just one point, right? Now, to their credit, right, I give Brother Sanchez's his community credit because they do make very intuitive arguments, right? Like for instance, they say, "Hey, this whole idea of this oblong spheroid or this globe Earth doesn't make sense to me. I go outside and I look and I see everything looks flat to me. What about this whole idea of gravity? What about I go outside, I don't see stars moving. I don't see things moving around like the scientific explanation says, right?" They make very intuitive arguments, but the problem is that science is counterintuitive. We always say that, right? And as well, you have to really, really kind of dig into some of the arguments and some of the stances that the guys take, because not everyone inside of the flat Earth community agrees with the same concepts. Like for instance, and there's a lot of overlap with other things, such as, like, for instance, I'll give you an example. Some believe that the young Earth. Some of them believe that the Earth is around 6,000 years old, right? Which aligns with the biblical narrative that Corey talks about, right? Some of them actually believe the flat Earth is also hollow, right? Some believe in the existence of the luminiferous ether, right? Which is a very old. You see, you've heard of that one before, right? Brother Sanchez on the panel yesterday, he talked about the existence of the ether, right? Which was first postulated by Rene Descartes, which is this substance that permeates the universe, right? That allows for the propagation of light, right? It's been debunked, many hundreds of years ago, right? Also, some, if you look at it within the chat, some of them actually believe in simulation theory, right? So it depends on who you're actually talking to, right? Within the flat Earth. That's why I think asking questions is very helpful when you're having these conversations with people who believe in the flat Earth, right? Because again, right, a lot of their arguments are very intuitive, but science is not intuitive in its very nature.
Brendan,
right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm putting this
Brendan,
on everybody.
The one question they can never answer. They can never present a model. They cannot present a model. The discussion ends before it starts. What's your model? Present a model that represents all aspects of what goes on planet Earth.
Right.
Just give me a model. They can't.
Right.
Conversation ends there.
And to this whole idea, right, you make people that are making these common sense based arguments or these arguments based on intuition, right? It goes back to a very fundamental logical fallacy, right? I'm not sure how many in the panel have or people that are listening have heard of this particular logical fallacy, but it's very akin to the argument from ignorance, right? There's a logical fallacy called the argument from incredulity. Right. I'm sure you've heard of it, Cedric. Right.
Oh, yes. They use it all the time.
Right. The argument from incredulity says that when a person makes an argument that doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. Well, the globe Earth, how could that be? That just doesn't make sense. It defies common sense, right? Tell me something about reality. I can't see a globe Earth, right? It doesn't make sense. Just because something doesn't make common sense to you, that does not mean that it's not accurate.
How
Right.
does the water stay on the planet on the other side?
Right.
How does
Yeah,
the
it
water
doesn't.
stay
Yeah.
on Australia?
How could that happen? How could that be? Right. It just doesn't make sense. Right. That's the argument from incredulity. Right. And again, it's based on a logical fallacy. But this particular video that I'm going to play, this goes to the.
So Brendan, before you put it up, I just
Yep.
got the term up here that I want everybody to see.
Right.
Geodesy, right?
Right.
And it's simply the earth science, right? Of accurately measuring and understanding Earth's figure, its geometric shape and size, orientation in space and gravity. So, you know, like if you're not really acquainted with this, right? Even you go to the definition, it is primary concern with the positioning within the temporal varying gravitational field. Geodesy in the German-speaking world is divided into higher geodesy. It's which is concerned with measuring the Earth on a global scale, and practical geodesy or engineering geodesy, which is concerned with measuring specific parts or regions of the Earth, and which includes surveying. So we have land surveys, right? Geodesic operations are also applied to the astronomical bodies in the solar system. It is also the science of measuring, understanding Earth's geometric shape, orientation in space, and gravitational field. And this is just important, right? In any conversation. Like, so for me, when we have these conversations, man, we just need to, if we don't understand geodesy, if we don't understand Mediterranean, what it is, we'll end up misusing it. You know, like, so the flat earthers, watch this, they misuse the information that says the earth is round. They misuse it because they don't even understand that there's an actual field study in that. So they say, well, it can't be round because of this, and this, right? But if they took, they don't have to take, if they just looked at some videos on geodesy, right, and read some articles on geodesy, even read the Wikipedia article, they would know if they want to relate the Earth to being flat, that there's actually science out there that will let them know if those statements are right or wrong or make any sense. Yes, they would know that. Sorry. I'm just saying they just would know that. And so for 2 years, we argued over the orientation. Watch this. We actually argued over the orientation of the Egyptians. Remember how the conversation started 2 years ago? And I said, yo, they was never orientated to the Mediterranean. That wasn't their orientation. Their culture was not, their culture was orientated to what? To the death cult. I talked about that. In the southern region, how it moved. I talked about that. So now that we have arrived at a situation when we talk about Mediterranean, it's the misuse of it that gets us mad and crazy because Europeans misuse that term. Like that's part of the study to know that they misuse that term. And I showed you Breasted and them, then rating race theory out of the Mediterranean. They misuse that. Now that we want to use it properly, then let's use it properly. So it's always this. It's always a back and forth. So the question is, how do we determine what's right? We'll read scholarly articles on it, and all scholarly arguments will first let you know that the culture comes from south to north, and that they participated in this particular region, and based off of the participation in that region, I'm saying, a collection of ideas come together, right? That would be called the Mediterranean. And the people that participated in there will say that's a Mediterranean culture. But if you don't say that, your mind is going to always go back to the busting of your head by racist people, the same way monkey and ape, right? If you're not clear when you say ape, and great ape and make those distinctions, you will always think we talking about an ape that's living today or a damn monkey that has a tail. So we have to be concise, right, in making our points, and we got to be crystal clear, right, in the study of the orientation of the earth and the study of the Mediterranean. All these things got to be crystal clear, or we'll just keep missing each other and argue, and then at the end of the day say, we saying the same thing then, right? Because that's what the study gonna do. It's gonna put you on the same page.
How do we
so-
get back here? How do we get back here from the flat earth?
You don't even say hi though.
How did we get back
You
here?
don't even say hi. You just come on crazy.
How did you, go ahead, Joe.
Say hi.
We nowhere.
Speak to everybody, yo.
Yo, we went to Sanchez, right? And the argument that you made over there, and somehow you brought it back to the Mediterranean. To tell niggas that they were wrong and didn't understand the Mediterranean.
Huh?
We were still on Sanchez.
We still on Sanchez, bro.
These guys.
No, I just went on a tirade about the Mediterranean.
It actually wasn't a tirade. It was showing how not studying something in its proper context or have you confused, and that was my point. I could say that.
Yeah, so you took enough because you wasn't really done with. You said you was done with the whole Egypt Mediterranean thing, but you wasn't because you had to take another shot.
But I surely wasn't
done, my nigga.
But I surely wasn't talking to you because you was gone.
That's all I'm saying. You wasn't. I'm just showing that you're not being fair.
Actually,
yo.
I'm done.
So
you just took another shot.
I didn't take a shot at you.
You
wait a minute. Hold on, excuse me. Don't say nothing.
Let's go.
I thought you agreed.
I'm getting back out of here. I'm leaving.
Yeah, I thought you agreed with that though. My fault. I apologize.
No, we were. The conversation was supposed.
I wasn't taking a shot at you because you agreed.
You made Corey in, and you said you wasn't talking about it no more.
No, I said I'm not arguing about that. I thought we all agreed. We agreed though. So you don't agree?
No, you cut Corey off like it was time to move on.
So you don't agree,
really
Chef?
wasn't done. You just
Chef,
ain't
so
want,
you agree?
You just ain't
So
want to hear him
Corey?
no more.
Chef, you don't agree?
You just ain't want to hear him no more.
Chef, that's not true. I didn't cut that man off. I didn't cut that
You
man off.
did,
Chef.
yo. You act like
No,
the
I didn't,
conversation
Chef.
was over.
No, I said I'm saying I'm no longer arguing, right? Since we all agree, you said you agree, right? So then if we all agree, then there's no argument. Have I lost my mind or something? Right, Cedric, if we all agree, then
we all agree. I ain't arguing no more. I said what I said.
Right, so we don't have to argue. So if I make a statement, then the statement's for those who don't agree. Maybe I'm just tripping.
It's just a statement. That's all it was. I
but
wasn't continuing.
if we all agree with that, if we all agree on what the Mediterranean culture is, then what are we arguing for then?
There is no argument. I'm done.
Right.
I'm done.
Right. So I'll continue to make my statements and show how we can go 2 years. We go 2 years because of a simple thing. Understand what is meant. Do not use monkey or ape in proper context, and nobody will argue with you with evolution. Right? Do not misuse, understand geodesy, and nobody will argue with you over the shape of the earth, because we already know it's not round. So if you're saying that it's not round, then the study of geodesy will let you know that we all understand that it's not round. So why are we arguing? Get the point? Go ahead, play the video though, Brendan.
All right, so let's share this. Let me know if you can actually see this first. And just to kind of tee up what this particular segment, again, the video is quite long. I think it's like a 5-hour stream. But this particular section of it, and this is can be very near and dear to our brother Airplane James. This is when Sanchez went in and he was talking about the altimeter, right? One of the tools inside of an airplane to measure the altitude, right, of the aircraft. So without that, I'll just go ahead and start.
This point, y'all.
Let me know if you can hear this.
Any of y'all watch football, right?
Yeah.
Okay, in basketball. So in football, say you line up and say you playing a defensive back, and the running back break out on the left side, and he's going down the sideline. The defensive back is coming from the other sideline. In your mind, you automatically calculating the speed that the running back is running.
But it ain't
because
the
you
same.
gotta let me make my point. You got to converge on that running back. Whenever a person misses a tackle, that meant they did the equation wrong, because both objects are moving. Just like in space, we in space. Earth is moving, everything is moving, right? So there's a calculation that will allow you to have the proper entry points. You gotta have a point when you're leaving, and you gotta be able to land back on Earth, just like when a plane takes off. So for what y'all saying to be right, all air traffic controllers, all pilots would actually have to have been taught the flat Earth model so they can even fly in direct planes.
Yeah,
they would have to know that. Simple as that.
Yeah.
That's deep that you say that.
They would have to know that.
That's deep. That's deep.
That's false.
Hey, but
That's false.
bro, bro, but
bro, that's false.
But guess what? Hold on. Wait. I'm finna prove to him right now. All pilots are taught flat Earth, and if they didn't know flat Earth, they wouldn't be flying.
You hear that, James? All pilots are taught the flat Earth model. You may not know it, but you are a flat earther, brother, based on this logic.
You see, they come with the conspiracy theories and they apply cognitive dissonance.
Oh,
No matter what evidence you show them, they're gonna spin it. Look at this nonsense.
I'm finna prove to him. A pilot might not know that they being taught flat Earth, but everybody mute up. Y'all might know what I'm doing, but I'm finna show something that's real powerful. Here's how a pilot is taught flat Earth. If you look at the flat Earth right here, right? And the main thing that a pilot gotta master is his altitude indicator. If he don't master this, he'll be dead in no time, trust me. Because he don't know
that's
how.
What happened to Kobe and them.
Right. So check this out. You're right. So check this out. If you look at how this thing is made, it's actually modeled after the flat Earth right here. You see it?
Yo, you funny.
I tell you what, he is a very creative mind. He has a very creative mind. Maybe overactive a bit, right?
Flat Earth. Right. I'm gonna show you. Look, everything down to the needle in the middle that's pointing you to where you at, which is God right here with the pitchfork in the middle, or Jesus on Mount Calvary with his arms open. See, this right here is technology.
See that your altimeter. See, James, the altimeter in your aircraft, right? Hallelujah. It's a model of Jesus on Mount Calvary.
Jesus on the cross,
and a combination of that and the flat Earth model. So I don't know.
Brendan, can I ask you a basic question?
Go ahead.
Why would Jesus or symbolism of Jesus be used in the altimeter?
I think he's gonna give you a hint why, right? And it goes into his rationale behind why he makes some of these arguments. So yeah.
But it's spirituality too, and I'm trying to I'm mixing science and religion. Guess what? That ain't been done in a long time. It's because I cracked the code.
You see, he told you what he's doing. He's mixing science and religion. It hasn't been done in a long time, right?
Taking us back to church.
All right. So let's see. Now we've tried that before, right? Yeah. And how did that work out for humanity, mixing science and religion, right? I think we ended up having this whole thing, right? We ended up having this whole thing called the Inquisition. So
because I
think let me see. I'm gonna pin this. Plus, man, we want to let everybody on the platform, so I dropped that link. So I'm gonna pin the thing up there. You want to come and jump into your discussion?
Yeah. Peace to brother James. I see you just jumped on.
Yeah.
And again, early in my career, I told the brothers this before. I actually worked in flight simulation. So, you know, in terms of what you're seeing here, this is like one of the a mechanical altimeter, right? In modern day, you know, aircraft, right, you would have more of a digital instrument to measure that altitude. But this, you know, it's one of the older traditional ones. And James can actually probably describe the function or the how this actually works from a scientific perspective. But if I'm not mistaken, I think it uses barometric pressure, right, to calculate the altitude of the aircraft, right? So
there should not be a divide between science and religion, because all of them understand that energy exists and it can't be created. That's mean you acknowledging God. You acknowledging an energy that's been here that we didn't put here. So my thing is, what was the split though? What caused the split? When we stopped thinking spiritually with our technology, we started building technology for control instead of for the upliftment of humanity.
Please.
But check this out.
All right. So again, that just a very. I'm sorry. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, James? Go ahead.
I just say hello. How's it going this weekend? And this is how it sounds when pseudos speak. To reference this instrument, an attitude indicator, and call a component a pitchfork, I mean, it is the height of stupidity. I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to preface that. I'm not going to teach this instrument. This is very, very important. I'm not going to teach you guys this. You know, these up here, what this is it's a very expensive science. And, you know, I just want to say that I think by now you guys realize that whoever was speaking on this to explain a flat earth is completely absurd. That is a globe, and it represents the horizon in the middle, and only a portion of the horizon, not flat earth. Just wanted to say that. Go ahead.
That's a good explanation. See how simple that explanation was? He says, actual globe, and that line represents the horizon. Right. And orientated. So you try to keep yourself orientated. Yeah.
And you know what? Some of the best explanations are the most simple.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. It's also called, I just want to say, it's also called an attitude gyro. That was the original name for it. And it worked on the principle, a gyroscope works on the precision, on the principle of precession and rigidity in space. I could give that up because that's you know, a part of the science. But you know, this is in no way, in any fashion, an explanation of a flat Earth. All right.
Oh man. Peace, Gullum. What's going on, brother? You got something to add? And peace, Stu Peas. I see Stu Peas jumped on the panel as well. You guys can come off mute when you get ready. You want to add just a bit to this particular conversation.
Can I add something?
I would say what's
absolutely.
good. I just came just to listen in and build. You know what I'm saying? I'm just listening right now, though.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Stu Peas.
All right. Airplane James might know this. I dated myself and I dated all the things that I do in my life. Let's say we're flying from New York to Jamaica, right? The altitude is not as important to the pilot as the flight plan. When you're flying through point A to point B, you have certain checkpoints, certain markers. They have all kind of names for them. I don't remember all of the names. Like every 30 or some mile, the pilot have to call to check in once he reach that checkpoint. Because planes actually follow a route. As big as how the sky is, there's certain routes that plane follow from New York to Florida. They don't fly all over the place. And during that route, they have certain checkpoints. Right? So he's talking about altitude. When you use this, it's altitude in respect to the ground.
Blocking in and around.
Right? Because if you're flying over Everest, so Everest is 16,000 feet. And you are flying over Everest. And you're only 1,000 feet up in the air. Your altitude is going to be 1,000 feet over Everest. But your altitude at the same time will be 17,000 feet over somewhere else below Everest. But that's what that do is in respect to the ground. But this dude don't bring up this in a modern day age.
Right.
Most modern
Respect to
people
sea level,
don't
right?
have
Isn't it like respect to sea level? This is
respect
what
to
this is doing.
sea
Correct.
level.
Now,
Right.
listen, the altitude is not that. It's not the.
I'm only listening to James. I'm
Listen.
only listening to. We have an expert on the panel. We need to be quiet and listen to the
Once
expert.
I'm not going to be. I'm not.
Suffer,
Going to
not the
be
2 years of air traffic control.
I just wanted to address Stu Peace. The
Hey,
idea of the
Chef,
altitude.
you ain't lying though, Chef.
Don't cut the wisdom just yet.
Yeah,
But the
you right.
idea
Go
of
ahead.
altitude is not the problem here. It is, you mentioned the route. The route is normally projected on a chart. An aeronautical chart has a basis, and the basis is called the Mercator conic projection. Look it up. It's a conic projection. Now, imagine if the flat Earth, because their basis is the chart, and they're making it flat. Now, when an aeronautical chart is made, it is on let's say you fold a piece of, you put a piece of paper in a conic way, and you print it over a portion of the globe, and then you flatten it out. All right, that's how the chart is made. It's called a conic projection. So even from that, what they're using as a basis on the chart is actually faulty on their part, because all the charts in aeronautics is a conic projection.
Stop, James. Stop, James. Do you realize you came on here, you looked at this instrument, and you say, "Hold on, yo, that's a globe."
Yeah.
That's
right.
stupid shit.
And that represents
That's stupid, yo. You made it tell. Hold on, James. Listen.
And the little airplane in the middle is it represents the degrees up above the horizon and degrees below the horizon.
James, listen, man. That's why we say rely on the damn experts. You came up in here and say, "Wait a minute, yo, that's a globe."
Yeah, the whole thing.
Hey, Chef.
Now y'all tripping. That's Newton Gale. You haven't.
Listen, it's so bad.
Listen, that is Jesus Christ. I don't care what James says. That is Jesus Christ, the cross.
That is Christ, and we're gonna get into why this is Newton Gale.
I want to say this.
Yeah,
I like to say this. Hold on, everybody, stop for a minute. Everybody know I like the deck stack. I'm not going over to Sanchez channel without James. I'm not doing it.
No. You can feel this.
And Anthony Bowman. We gotta have James and we gotta have Anthony Bowman.
I'm not going to tell you.
Now, regarding the route also.
Wait a minute, yo. Are you telling me
when you go for a long
globe, yo?
Talk to Jamaica, when you take a long route, you don't
know
make
how
a
much I would have pounced their ass, yo, if I'd have realized that.
It's called a great circle route. I want you to understand this. I don't want to teach you guys this, but it's called a great circle route. When you make a long trip on a sphere, you don't make a straight line on a conic projection. That will be a long way around. You must make a great circle route. And that type of fire checkpoint is a more efficient line. And it can only work if the
That's why I brought up. That's why I brought up the route. That's why I brought up the route.
Only work if the Earth is
for you to explain it to the layman. That's why I brought up the route. For you to explain it to the layman. But for him
to bring up pilot training and instrumentation, and it's not as Brennan pointed out. It is the old gas steam gauges. It is what's called, it's a gyroscope. But yes, there are different type of accelerometers and different things that's used in what's called a glass cockpit now. The instruments are not the same. So for him to bring up this old technology for his explanation of a flat Earth is completely absurd.
No, because I love the history of that map. Anybody who knows.
Are you running past that stop sign? The man bring this up as an indication of it being a flat Earth, and it's actually a globe. The debate was over before it started.
Right.
This is relative to that. You know. When
James, I'm not going, bro. I'm telling you.
Now, James. One of the cockpits that I'm really familiar with is the primary flight trainer that the Air Force uses is the T6. And what we see in the T6 is that these particular instruments, like what we have on the screen right here, right? These would be backup instruments, right? These would be instruments just in case if you had some type of an electronic or an electric issue where the electronics instruments would die or malfunction, right? Then you could have these manual or these other instruments in your cockpit that don't rely on electricity that you could still actually use. Yep.
That is correct. It's called redundancy. And these older instruments, when they work on a pneumatic system, because it's a vacuum system that's actually turning the gyro in order for it to perform as a rigid. When that you'll have to look that up. Like I said, I don't want to explain the rigidity and space principle, and I don't in precession. You'll have to look it up. However, for it to turn that gyro, it is a pneumatic system that's turning some pendulous vanes and it's rotating at a very high speed in order to get that rigid effect in space. So it's everything is working on a circular, even linear to circular, and dealing with the Earth electromagnetically. If they can explain how the two poles work, I could explain why the Earth is round, is a sphere, just with the magnetic errors that we experience in the air, right? There's a magnetic dip. And in the mid latitudes, it will be as much as 30 degrees of a dip. So, listen, it's too clear for us. And so he cannot use a pilot as an example of a flat Earth when we're the ones who can literally prove it's not flat.
Yeah, I want to this girl. I want to say even when you look up at a crescent moon, that proves that the Earth is round. Like the shadow is cast as a circular cast.
Right. So let's play a bit more of this video. Let's see if we can get through a bit more of it.
Yeah, but check this out. I'm showing you how the technology connects with the cosmology right here, still today, on this indicator here. Because the Earth is flat and we inside of a dome, here goes Shu right here in the middle holding his hand up, and here go Nut, the blue goddess, bent over and right there. And Gab is this brown part laying down, the Earth god, the horizon line, Horus. So if you look at Shu, even if you look at Shu, he's shaped just like that hourglass in the middle right there. That's why they got him shaped in like an hourglass with his body.
Oh my God.
That's him right there.
That's
the
it.
Hourglass in the middle of the Earth. You see him holding up the sky, the bow tie. Yeah. See, but
Your
I'm
imagination is definitely better than mine. Yo,
guess what? I'm gonna tell you. No, I'm gonna tell you. Listen. Let me correct you. Hold up. No, stop. Let me correct him. The ancestor spirituality is just greater than all of ours. That's the correct statement. I didn't make Nut, Gab, and Shu. I won't want to take credit and say this is my imagination. The Egyptians gave us this, and I'm just showing us the science behind it. And let me go ahead and show you more what that science is. They were
all right. So again, there's a lot of comparisons, or I guess what you would call lookership, right?
Brendan,
how we coin it, right?
Brendan, put the attitude indicator back up. I just wanted to explain that he has the comparison with with that blue arc up on top. It has nothing to do with anything over you. This is an indicator of your bank angle. Okay, this is just where it would be. This is just how we interpret this instrument. So if this the little orange triangle, when it moves to the left, that means you're banking left, right? And the first notch is 10 degrees, 20, 30 degrees, that the big notch 45, and then 60 degrees bank, right? This has nothing to do with Newt and nothing to do with anything overreaching the globe in the middle, right? This is just a bank angle indicator, So that's crazy what he just said.
All right.
So it's a pseudo guy, knowing that most likely 99.9% of the listeners have no aeronautical knowledge.
James,
And
can I ask you, James, I don't mean to cut you. Explain more to the people what the orange line mean, what the numbers within the globe mean, your ascent or your descent. Explain it. Since you're the pilot, explain what the orange line mean. When the orange line is at 10, when the orange line is at 20, when the orange line is at -10, when the orange line is at -20.
No,
When it's
the
flat.
orange line, as you say, is just a depiction of the wings of the airplane, as if you're sitting in the cockpit looking forward. These wings are to the left and to the right of you, right?
Right.
And when the wings and the dot in the middle, it moves at the same time, it's connected. When it moves up, that first line is 5 degrees, the second line is 10, next is 15, 20. The 10 and the 20 is depicted, the 5 and the 15 is not, all right? And when you fly instruments, moving this little dot half a ball width or half a bar width, things like that, this is precision flying. So this is a very important instrument in what's called attitude instrument flying, when you're referring to nothing but the instrument where you can no longer see the ground, in whether it be instrument meteorological conditions or whether it's nighttime. This instrument is very, very important when it comes to that. So those numbers inside is just the degrees up and the degrees down.
All you know it's pointing.
Hold on for a minute, Stu Pease. 1 sec, Stu Pease. So what happened with the pilot that was driving Kobe? What went wrong in the fog? Where did he misread his instrument?
The situation with Kobe Bryant is, I consider it similar to what happened with Aaliyah in Barbados. When a pilot is told by whoever is paying him to do it, and then he jeopardizes the whole safety by no longer adhering to aeronautical principles, right? Now, when you do a pre-flight, the weather was below the or at the marginal level for visual meteorological conditions. It was below. It was actually, I think it was it's got scud, and it's hard to keep an eye on the terrain when you keep going in and out of the clouds in a mountainous area, right? So for him to go on that flight, it was the problem. He should have said, no, we can't fly today. Just drive over. That shit is just about 20 miles away or whatever, right? And it could have been ended like that. In Aaliyah's case, the manager tell him, no, we're taking everything with us. He's like, no, it's overweight. No, we're taking we'll get somebody else. And now he wants that money. So he goes and he violates the literal capability of the airplane, right? So this is when pilots don't stay true to form and they let somebody else get into their world, into their science, and that could interrupt things. Right. So that's what that was all about with that pilot going up, because when he could no longer see the ground and then try to remain legal and try to get out of the clouds, now he's ignoring the fact that terrain is a factor. And he had control flight, most likely control flight into terrain.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. I think she won the suitcase too, because just what you're saying too. Yep. Shoot. Okay.
Yeah, he could have also filed a pop-up instrument. If he was I believe he was instrument rated. He could have filed a pop-up clearance just to be legal to get into the clouds. Now, the flight was not an instrument flight, so he was supposed to stay with visual reference to the ground, and that made it difficult. And instead of doing the right thing, and I don't know his well, I think I know his experience level was not where mine is, but what I'm saying is, these kind of things come with experience, and sometimes that experience is paid for in blood. And Kobe and his lovely daughter and the rest of the people were victim of that pilot's ineptitude.
And you know what was Stoopy right before you, but I wanted to hit on something that James just mentioned. And you talked about instrument or instrumentation flying, right? And that was one of the, for me, right, when I actually worked in flight simulation, that was one of the things that was most fascinating to me is that how pilots could actually jump into a cockpit. And they, I think this was part of the primary flight training that the Air Force pilots had to go into to be able to demonstrate that they had to be able to go inside of a simulator with no visuals, right, with a map, right, and then they could actually do a flight from one destination, from one location to another, complete takeoff and everything, only using instruments with no visual references, right? I was like, okay, wow, that's a really, you got to know what you're doing inside of a cockpit to do that.
Oh yeah,
James, can I ask you a question? With this instrument, you can use this instrument to assess the pitch and the roll of the aircraft, right?
That is exactly right. This instrument, you can measure the pitch and the roll.
Explain to people what the pitch and the roll is.
Now your pitch is now you see, this is where I'm saying.
We don't want to get into a complete
No, because I want people when they see this instrument to understand.
You're asking a professional flight instructor to explain.
It's into the layman term. Using your hand. Tell everybody to put their hand flat.
Okay, this is a gift to the people, right?
Put your hand flat.
No. There's certain
point up or down.
Let me give it to you then. The pitch rotates around the lateral axis, right? And the roll is around the longitudinal axis. The longitudinal axis, if you stick a spear all the way through the nose to the tail of the aircraft, that's your longitudinal axis. If you put a spear from wingtip to wingtip, that's your lateral axis, right? Mm-hmm. Now you have one more axis on this thing.
Yeah.
The yaw axis.
Yeah, but this don't tell you yaw.
And that's if you stick one straight down through the center of the fuselage, straight up and down, right? So it'll yaw around that axis. So that's the best explanation without giving you a lesson.
You're too complicated, James. It's left or right. If you put your hand down flat, straight, like an airplane, like one of those little boys, pitch is up or down. If the aircraft pitching up, the aircraft pitching down. Roll is left or right. The aircraft going left or the aircraft going right. But not right. Not left or right like that. But
to your credit, piece, I do use visual aids in my instruction. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
All right, so let's get back to the video, guys. Yeah, let's get back to the video.
Sweet Pea is crazy. See, this is a prime example.
Hold on just a second. Let's pull this up. Now, this particular
on this motherfucker. This nigga fly commercial. He gotta have a degree in aeronautics. Oh hell, now leave him alone, Sweet Pea. You gotta stop. We're gonna ask you.
No man, we want him to break. Him can break it down simply enough.
What they want simple?
No. Or him explain it. You have to go to school to study that explanation first.
No, right? He gave us a good one. He told you. He said the speed from the tip of the plane to the tail.
Yeah.
And that's longitude.
Right.
Then he said from
now look at
this.
My man Unc knows the axes of an airplane, and he ain't have to pay jack for it, man. That's for you, brother.
Right. That's you dropped us a bit of a jewel there for sure. All right. So this next particular segment here, we're sort of segmenting into. We talk about the space, right? This whole idea, because I think a lot of people within the flat Earth community, maybe not all of them, but some of them, they subscribe to the idea that this idea of outer space isn't rooted in reality, right? That there is no real outer space, and they're trying to explain something for them. Again, for them, the concept of an outer space is counterintuitive for them. Right. They go outside, they see the sky, they see everything around them. Like, what do you mean outer space? Right. What does that particularly mean? Right. So this segment goes into this. But before we go into to this particular video clip, I wanted to talk about a particular phenomenon that Unc sort of gave as an example. And they were talking about a balloon. They were talking about gravity. Right. And about how how things actually fall to the earth, right? And I think Unc made a reference is that, hey, gravity is real because just go outside and just drop something out of your pocket, it's going to fall down, right? Brother Sanchez made a comment and says that, well, no, I can debunk that because think about a balloon, like a balloon made of with helium inside, right? It's not going to fall down, right? It floats up. So that was sort of his debunking gravity attempt, right? But right, you have to think about it, and this is one of those things that I think people in the flat Earth community are very susceptible to, is that they don't take into the account all of the conditions, right? Like for instance, right, there's a completely scientific explanation why a balloon filled with helium floats, right? It's because helium is lighter than the air that it displaces in our atmosphere, right? It's the same concept if you take a life preserver and throw it in a swimming pool, right? The life preserver is made of material, right? Within the volume of it is actually lighter than water, right? So of course it floats. The same principle, right, happens with a balloon filled with helium, right? That's the reason why it floats
don't use
upwards.
lighter. Don't use the word lighter. Use the word less dense.
Less.
One sec.
Don't use the word lighter. Less dense.
Well, yeah.
Brendan, can you hear me?
Yes.
You got them controls, Joe. So when you're ready to shut it down, you can.
Okay, we'll do, right? But there's a caveat. There is an experiment that you can do, right? Even with a balloon filled with helium that shows the effects of gravity, right? So you have to do it within a vacuum, right? All objects within a vacuum fall at the same rate due to the acceleration of gravity, right? And inside of our Discord, I think we put there was a video to a BBC video. There's a scientific laboratory where they have the world's largest vacuum, right? It's basically, it's a compartment where they suck out all of the air, and they did an experiment, right? Where they took a feather, right? And a regular, like a ball, right? And they dropped it from about 30 feet high, right? And both of them fell at the same rate, right? So even a balloon filled with helium inside of a vacuum will fall like a ton of bricks because of gravity.
No, Brendan, this is what a lot of people fail to recognize. It's because I never do a simple experiment. I used to work in a lab when I was in high school for extra money. And I used to fuck around with the people and things. I waste thousands of dollars worth of acid and bases just fucking around on a daily basis. Right? But like I'll get a tall conical measuring cylinder, and then you pour liquids of various density in that container. And they will separate based upon their density. Fluids separate based upon the density. Like water is more dense, is a denser fluid. So it will, sometimes it will go to the bottom unless something more heavier than it comes. Gasoline float on top of water. That's why when you have an oil spill, that's less dense than water. So it will float on top of that. Helium is less dense than oxygen. If you look at the periodic table, hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium. If you follow the periodic table, that is how they float. So when you have helium is always going to float above oxygen. It is going to float above nitrogen. 70% of our atmosphere is made up of nitrogen. If helium is less dense, it is going to float above that. So it's going to go above the nitrogen. Because
it's all fluid dynamics, right? Yeah.
Right. It is less dense. So it's going to float. So by the time we're outside of the Earth atmosphere, if you look at the Earth atmosphere and you start name the zone, the stratosphere, what sphere we're in now? We're in the bottom sphere. And then above us you have the stratosphere. And then above the stratosphere you have a next sphere.
Right, the ionosphere and all these so on and so forth. Right?
The mesosphere. As you go out, as you go above it, helium is going to take its rightful place. And its rightful place is just below hydrogen. Hydrogen will float faster than helium.
To the point, Stoopies, let me just interject here for a second. I just wanted to say the same action is true with hot and cold air masses, right? Even whether it's molecular or whether it's a large air mass, it acts the same way. The warm air mass will rise through just like helium or any other thing that's lighter than the substance that it's in, right? So when that occurs, this is where you get from heating and cooling, which is called diurnal heating and cooling of the Earth's surface.
What heating do to the air? What heating do to the air? It makes it less dense. When you heat air, you manipulate the density of the air. So because it becomes less dense, it's going to rise.
Regarding flat Earth, when you have that heating and cooling of the surface and you have less dense air and warmer air rising through, then it takes, if the Earth is flat, there will be no Coriolis effect of this matter. This is a fluid that we are.
You are a genius, James.
The
formation of the hurricane tell us that the Earth not flat.
Right, in the atmosphere, right? It's a fluid motion. So they cannot, what I like what Cedric said earlier in the night when he said they cannot present a model. This is fact. There is no way that you can present a model of a flat Earth.
All right. So this particular segment here talks about sort of outer space, and I think there's a very interesting piece as well. They talk about the composition of the sun as well, right? So I'll just go ahead and play this, and then we'll just kind of step through some of the logic here.
Because I never been to space, and you don't know it because you never been to space, right?
Hey bro, we're in space. We're just not outside the Earth's atmosphere. We're actually in space now, but we're in the compass.
No, we're not in space. So you're telling me right now? Oh, hold on. I want everybody to listen. Let me do this. This is how we can bring clarity. Or you're telling me I'm in the same location as these astronauts supposed to be right here?
Let me see.
I'm where he is.
Yeah, we're in space.
So why he got that suit on and I don't got no suit on?
Because he left outside of Earth's atmosphere, what I was talking
okay,
about.
so we
needs a machine to help him survive.
Listen,
because we wasn't made outside of Earth's atmosphere.
So listen,
that was my point.
Going outside of Earth, when you reach the edge of the atmosphere, they call that the edge of space. They're saying this is where Earth atmosphere stops and where space began. You can't now say me on Earth under the atmosphere is in space. I'm inside of the Earth atmosphere. Space is representative of the region outside of that where he is.
Do me a favor, pan out for a minute in your mind. There are other planets besides Earth. Right? And what I'm trying to tell you is the thing that allows the sun and all that stuff, the fucking sun would burn us up. Okay, the question is asked, well, how come that astronaut ain't burning up? Because wouldn't he be closer to the sun?
The sun ain't fire, so it wouldn't burn you up, just like the
radiation.
The light in your ceiling won't burn you up. God ain't dumb. See, science make God seem dumb as fuck. To me, if you ask me, because if you look at the sun in the sky, it's not a big bright ball of red burning fire. It's let me see if I can find a real picture of the sun.
It's radiation, UVA, UVB rays. Yeah, different levels of radiation. Matter of fact, the reason for our skin color is to protect us from the harmful UVA.
Let's stay on the globe Earth flat Earth. We'll go to the skin color later. But like I said, it's sun right here. It ain't nothing but pure light. It's not fire. Everyone know that this is not a chemical reaction above your head. Because if you burning,
no, it's a nuclear reaction above your head.
some fire, you got smoke. You got a loud smell. You got a tail on it. The sun is a magnificent piece of luminous light, meaning it ain't a physical object. It's a hot.
So now the sun is not a physical object, right? And this is the reason why I wanted to play this particular clip, right? When you say that the sun is basically a manifestation of pure light and it is not a physical object, right? So anything that's not a physical object, what is it? Imaginary object, or we're dealing with things in the natural world. We're dealing with physics, right? So if it's not a physical object, what is it, right? Is it a figment of your imagination, or
pure light? Isn't that what he said? He said pure light. Oh man.
So the sun is just pure light. Right? It has nothing to do with any. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Uncle's
So I thought that was particularly interesting, right? It was a flat Earth explanation or description of what the sun is, right?
I didn't get this live, but Uncle's handling it pretty good, man.
Yeah, you did a great job. I think the brother did a great job over there. Again, I think I really like Brother Sanchez's community. He has a loyal community of people. They over there, they're talking about science, and no matter if I may not agree with a lot of the things they're saying, right? A lot of the stuff that they're subscribing to is flat out pseudo in my approximation, right? But at least he does have a really good community of people that's loyal to him, right? And they also they're very well behaved over there, right, in terms of the decorum. So I do shout out to the brother Sanchez and his community over there. By no means do anything that I say am trying to berate or look down upon them, right? It's just about dealing with the scientific information as it is, right?
Yeah. Well, using a three-dimensional instrument such as an attitude indicator to explain a flat Earth was the height of absurdity to me, though. I mean, that was
I thought you would get a kick out of that. That's why that was something that had my ears sort of going. My pseudo senses were going, so I knew you were going to get a kick out of that one.
Man, well, you guys passed my cocktail hour, and I said, I'm not coming on to talk no mess like that, but I had to chime in, man. That's crazy.
Right, absolutely. Federated States. That's how you just joined the panel. What's up, brother? You got something on your mind as well?
Nah, hey, how you guys doing? Just interested. Hey, who's on here? Really, I forgot. Is that James who know about planes and stuff like that?
Yes, James.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
James online right now?
Yes, he's on the panel.
What's going on?
Hey, James, what's up?
What's up, Federated?
Hey, I need you to get this pseudo thing out of my mind, right? Incorrect. My question is, when you up, what is like 40,000? What is it? 40,000 miles in the air or some shit like that?
That's way up there. That's the space where they were just talking
40,000 feet.
40,000
See, I told you I don't know shit about that.
Yeah, 40,000 feet, right?
Yeah. All right, my pseudo thing is all right. I'm talking about planes now. When they up there that high, that I know you guys gonna say, oh, I'm probably a little bit off, but yeah, when that situation happened on 9/11, right, when those planes hit those buildings, I want to know, how did that pilot knew exactly where to land at, how to hit that? When you up in the clouds, me and my spouse, like Jason, when you up in the clouds like that, how do you know how to directly hit those two objects?
So what you're trying to do is get on here and get a navigation lesson on this channel, man. But I thought you were going. I thought you were going. I thought you at 40,000 feet, would a pilot see the curvature of the Earth? I thought you were still on the flat Earth.
You go there too, but answer my question.
I ain't answering that, man. That'll be $40,000 for my flight program. How about that?
Tell you what you do.
I do like that. I like that question though. At 40,000 feet, can you see the curvature?
No,
that is a good question.
Not really.
Your eyes can, your eyes can perceive that at 40,000.
Right. So the answer is yes. Yeah.
That is correct.
Because I knew within, they say that really within the now people that are passengers on a flight, right? Because they don't have, they don't, I guess their visual, you don't have enough degrees of visual to see the curvature of the earth out of that small window, right? But within the cockpit, right, they could actually see that, right? But we talk about the Concorde. I think what was the altitude that the Concorde actually flew?
That flew at 80,000 feet.
Right. They say clearly, a passenger that was flying in the Concorde could see the curvature of the earth.
So the Concorde is how high, you say again?
60 to 80,000 feet.
Oh, wow.
All right. And if you want to know, just buy an Xbox and play Microsoft Sim. If you play Microsoft Sim, you will see how the pilots catch the plane. Just play Microsoft Flight Simulator.
That's probably only $100, $200 or whatever.
Yeah, that's $200. $200 for the Xbox, and you'll get the Flight Simulator for free. And you can see. And you can see how the flight. You can crash planes into anything you want to crash planes into. The pyramid, the Eiffel Tower, anything. Anything. Just buy Flight Simulator. And you'll realize. Remember, the other thing, it was broad daylight. It was not rainy day. It was broad daylight.
Right. And you know what? One of the interesting things they say, because I was actually working simulation when 9/11 happened, and I remember our visual databases at the time had the Twin Towers in New York. There, you just put in there, just go to the area, because again, we had all the areas across the globe which you could actually fly through. And I remember us having to get a database update that removed the Twin Towers from the New York landscape. So it was kind of interesting there.
Well, how about if you and Stu Peas is floating in the ocean, how far do you think you have to be away from each other before you could no longer see each other because of the curvature? Does anyone? It's not at all. It's approximately 8 miles. All right. That proves, you could hold up a red flag right up by your head. You could be treading water. Stu Peas is 8 miles away. And beyond that 8 miles, he's not going to be able to see that red flag, or vice versa. Right. So.
Right. That's one of the most solid proofs that the earth is round. Right. Exactly. Right. The horizon, or there's a particular effect they call it, but yeah, absolutely. But again, I think we're going to have some subsequent conversations. Actually, I think Brother Unk actually made a challenge. He was like, "Hey, Brother Sanchez, get 3 or 4 of your some of your best flat earthers, people who subscribe to that particular worldview." Right?
They can't beat them. Trust me, Brandon, they can't argue with them. These people believe we live in a terrarium. You know what a terrarium is? A terrarium is a self-contained, like certain people do it for plants.
Habitat.
Put these plants in this habitat and it's sealed.
If this is true, on a clear day, they are supposed to be able to see from Japan to New York.
That's impossible.
That's impossible. Because of line of sight, it's impossible. In fact, at 40,000 feet, of course you can't see, not even anywhere close to that. Even at 40,000 feet over Japan, you ain't gonna see even Hawaii. Right?
No, and then the other argument them like to say, I like to insist, because Neil deGrasse Tyson said it, and then I look it up. The earth is round. And let me explain. The difference between the northern and the southern hemisphere is not that significant. Neil deGrasse said, if you shrink the earth down to the size of a cue ball, it would be the most perfect cue ball. You wouldn't be able to feel any of the ridges. It would be the most perfect cue ball that was ever invented. Right? The oval shape what I talk about, or the pear shape, is not as significant. It's because science like to be exact in the measurement. They say, okay, the southern hemisphere that's slightly wider than the northern hemisphere.
No,
but in fact,
that,
to the naked eye, it is not.
Who says that?
Yes, that's that. The Earth, the northern hemisphere of the Earth is slightly wider than the southern hemisphere.
No. The Earth, if you look at the curvature on this sphere, you have, of course, it's got you have it's kind of it pressed down. It's kind of wider at the.
It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not anything significant.
It's kind of wider at the equator in terms of if you look at it from straight up and down, and the equator as horizontal, right?
I'll tell you something, James. James, people like to say that, but if you look at the actual numbers, what is the diameter of the Earth? 4,000 miles?
Greater than that. The diameter is greater than that.
Not the diameter. Not the diameter. The circumference would be the round. The diameter would be from end to end.
But it's
what's the diameter of the Earth?
It's 4,000 miles from New York to LA. Damn near.
You're right. What is the diameter of the Earth? Let me see.
Pull it up, you get an exact number. But what I mentioned about the
7,917 miles, 8,000 miles. 8,000 miles across at the equator, if we look at it as a two-dimensional object. If we look at the Earth as a two-dimensional object, means that we look at it flat on a table. From one point to the next point, the equator is 7,917 miles. If I ask what distance is the longitudinal distance, no, latitude is north to south, longitude is east to west, right?
Yeah. No, longitude to north to south. So you're
to south. Yeah. If we look at the longitudinal distance of the Earth, it's not much bigger.
Measure the diameter with any longitudinal line.
All right. So what is the longitudinal distance of the Earth? So we have the equator at 7,917.5 miles, right?
Mm-hmm. But in terms, the terms you're explaining is kind of it's kind of round in those terms. Yeah, the differences in the sphere that I'm talking about, in the spherical shape of the Earth, is very, very small compared to a ball.
Right. Okay. And you know what? There's so many components to the flat Earth argument, right? That of course we don't have enough time to do it in this show, right? I think some of the subsequent maybe shows that we'll sort of maybe break those down. Right, talked about some of the specific aspects of the flat Earth theory that some of these guys subscribe to. Maybe we'll do some of them over on the Discord as well, some minor ones. But again, I don't want to go too much further with this particular show. I want to go ahead and maybe do some closing remarks. Brother Cedric, do you have anything sort of to add in closing for this particular show? And you're on mute if you had something, and if not, while he's on mute, I'll ask the brother James anything that you would like to close out with, because I think you really provided some really rich discussion for this particular show.
Well, I just appreciate the show. I think it's wise for all of us to learn a better way of expressing ourselves. Sometimes even learned men, they get excited about various topics, and sometimes not the best ideas come out of their mouth. From what I heard earlier in the show, that was pushing the limits right there. But Aunt came on and handled it. I'm talking, Corey and Chef, they pushed these limits, and but science will prevail, as we say in the business. Science will prevail, and I think scientific literacy will be improved because of it. So thanks for the platform.
Oh, absolutely. And again, my favorite quote from Colin Powell, he always says, He's like, hey, never put your position so close to your ego that when your position falls, your ego falls with it, right? So you always have to, give yourself some leadway in that regard, right? And we can't take ourselves too seriously, and we can have the best measure is to have these conversations with a light heart. What about you, Stupies? Anything in closing for you?
This is my thing in closing.
Mm-hmm.
When you're studying history, geography, physics, especially history, and always walk with a map and a clock. And even flat earth, walk with a map and a clock. Because who, where, what, when is very important. Who said it first? Where was he? And when he said it. That anytime with critical thinking, who, where, what, when, and have a map, and people won't be able to fool you. If you have a map of the globe, and somebody said to you that the globe is flat, they ask them, so how long does it take to fly from New York to London? And we'll say, okay, and what's the average speed of the jumbo jet? And you calculate the speed, and you say, it should have covered that distance. And you use your globe to measure that distance, and you use their map to measure that distance. Any distance that is not close to distance equals speed over time. Anything that is not equal to your distance is going to tell us that something is wrong. Don't let them fool you. Don't let people fool you with this flat earth map. When you look at it, the distance don't measure up. Use air travel, and you can track a plane. Any plane you want to track, if you know how to track them, you can track any plane in the world. So if you want to track a plane from Australia to New York, track that plane. Look at the flight plan. Look at the distance what it's supposed to travel. And then look at what the flat earth said. And you realize there's something wrong with their picture. Thank you.
Right. I think the next particular topic, or the next major topic regarding flat earth that I think we should really delve into is going to be gravity, right? I think this whole idea that they could debunk gravity, or they have an explanation for the natural world, right, that lies outside of what we know in modern science regarding gravity. That's the linchpin, right? Because everything falls on its face, right? When you have discussions, or really scientific discussions about gravity. So I think that's will be one of the next conversations that we have. And again, I think we've talked about gravity in some detail in some previous shows. Shout outs to the brother Due Diligence. He's always, we haven't seen him a whole lot, the brother Due Diligence, but he's certainly welcome to jump on the panel once we start talking about gravity at the scientific level again. Anything in closing for you, Federated?
No, I don't have anything. I really appreciate the show. You guys have a good night.
Oh,
no.
Awesome.
I have an objection to that. Gravity is too important a subject to have people just talking bullshit.
Oh, no, not at all. Right. It would have to be a very structured conversation when we're talking about gravity.
Trying to debunk gravity, because they don't even understand space-time.
Right.
They don't even understand space-time. They don't even understand that. So the gravity is, oh Lord, these people,
right,
as black people, them walking with them pants on and them underwear. Anybody
right. Because last night, you know what the interesting thing was last night, right? Because they I think brother Ankh, he mentioned gravity. He's like, well, gravity is a law. And then the other guy said, no, gravity is a theory. Right. And they sort of went back and forth. Is gravity a law? Is gravity a theory? Right. But as we know, right, inside of science, we know that it's both. Right. We have Newton's universal law of gravitation, and we also have Einstein's theory of general relativity. Both are very concerned, right, with the nature of gravity in the physical world. Right. And me and you, Stupies, we've had conversations about the gravitation at the with Newtonian physics, or what we call classical physics, and we've also had conversations about general relativity. And when we talk about gravity, I think we have to talk about it in those particular scientific terms, right?
And I'd like to speak about it in terms of overcoming it. That's my realm over there.
Awesome. All right. So it's a great show. Thanks for everybody coming out. Everybody's listening in, right, to the show. Big thanks for everybody that jumped on the panel and sort of contributed to the conversation. Again, right? So we'll probably start a series related to flat Earth, and then we'll have some conversations about that. Just mixing it up a little bit, adding some different diverse topics, right? For the Pseudo Killer shows. But with that, you guys enjoy your upcoming week, and we'll see you in the Discord.
Very nice. Very nice.
All right. Later.
Peace.
Peace.